Wait until the last second, then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave perfect guidance. Call Air Right Heating and Cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Sir, but homeowners have so many HVAC options.
They're not like Air Right. You got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres. I wouldn't let them near the White House. It would be a complete disaster.
Mr. President, there are reports of significant rebates on new systems. Can you confirm?
I've heard about them. A lot of people talking about them. If you miss out, you'd have to be really not so smart. Tremendous savings, let me tell you.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling at AIR-RITE.com. Air Right, doing it right since 1959.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Slow-hanging fruit, Squirrel, to focus on the moron representatives from the most corrupt, most financially failed, and the dumbest areas in our country, known as the Democrats, as they try to articulate points they do not understand. So we're not going to do that, Squirrel. We're going to focus on, took 227 years for this country to accumulate $3 trillion in debt. Joe Biden spent $3 trillion on green energy. Where's the money? Where's the money? We'll discuss that and so much more after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. A sunny and warm afternoon ahead, a high near 83. Still key races to be decided after 6 states held primary elections yesterday. In California, the races for governor and L.A. mayor are still up in the air. Spencer Pratt is close to securing a spot on the November ballot to go up against incumbent mayor Karen Bass in L.A.
I'm going to continue to work hard, learn everything I need to learn, build my teams, show all the experience I'm going to surround myself with, because that's a concern people have. Oh, he has no experience. I'm going to build that experience around, and we have 5 months to put the best team the city could ever dream of around me.
The vote counting could go on for days. Illinois Comptroller Susana Mendoza announced today she'll run again for mayor of Chicago, joining Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas and Representative Mike Quigley, who've also said they are interested. A homicide investigation is underway after a man was killed, another badly hurt in a shooting on the city's far south side in the Washington Heights neighborhood late last night. White Sox battling Minnesota this afternoon, while the Cubs send Colin Ray to the mound against the A's. The news, a service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency. Go to surroundchicago.com today. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks halted their record-breaking rally with the rise in the price of crude oil weighing on the market amid new tension with Iran. The Dow closed down 619 points, the S&P 500 tumbled 55 points, and the Nasdaq declined 239 points. The Dow winners, Walmart, Amgen, and Caterpillar. The Dow decliners, IBM, Salesforce, and Honeywell International. Declines in artificial intelligence-related stocks also weighed on the market. Shares of NVIDIA, Dell Technologies, and Microsoft lost around 3%. Investors also looking at the U.S. planning new tariffs, at least 10% on up to 60 trading partners. Those tariffs aim to replace those struck down by the U.S. Supreme Court. Amazon is now #1 on Fortune 500's list of America's biggest companies. It took over that spot from Walmart. That is your Fox Business Report. I'm Angelo Bavaro, invested in you.
Hugh Hewitt believes the president is thinking about Cuba.
I want to say that.
He doesn't want to say that he's going to take Castro like Maduro, but I think he's going to take Castro like Maduro.
The Hugh Hewitt Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Alex Marlowe at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft, but that's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If they find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes in your financial accounts, they'll alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that can make all the difference. Save up to 30% off your first year with the promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. 800-LifeLock. 1-800-LifeLock or LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK at LifeLock.com.
Health insurance rates are surging in America, leaving millions without affordable options. If you're sick of having paychecks eaten up by healthcare costs or dealing with mega corporations, then listen to this. Christians don't need to waste money on a broken system. That's why I want to tell you about Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's an alternative to traditional health insurance at half the cost. With CHM, fellow believers contribute monthly to help pay each other's medical bills. There's no enrollment period, so you can join anytime. And you aren't restricted to provider networks, so you choose the doctors and hospitals you want. It's that simple. CHM is not insurance. It's a ministry that puts faith into action. Feel the difference of financial support and biblical care from fellow believers. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
There is still an accident on the inbound Edens at Elston. That's in the left lane. 38 minutes going in. The outbound trip looks good. Kennedy, 45 minutes. Downtown to O'Hare, slowing in the express. Armitage to Keeler. Eisenhower, 55 to get to 390 from the post office. Stevenson out. Hour to the Tri-State, hour and 5 to the Veterans Memorial Tollway. Outbound Ryan, 35 minutes. Express are sluggish, 51st to Marquette. Bishop Ford outbound crash at 130th in the left lane. DuSable Lakeshore Drive in the Tri-State heavy either way. And the Reagan eastbound has an accident at Cermak in the left lane, northbound 53. Exit ramp to westbound Lake Cook Road closed with an accident. Traffic is a service of Woodland Windows and Doors. Marvin replacement windows and doors can bring your backyard right into your living space, making it seem brighter and more spacious. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your consultation. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a low of 63. Moving into Thursday, anticipate partly sunny conditions with very warm temperatures and breezy winds in the afternoon. The high will reach 88 degrees. Thursday night will bring partly cloudy skies and continued warmth with a low of 69. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
It's a funny thing about a trillion. It's a word that really hasn't been around in politics for more than about 40 years or so, when they started to even utter a trillion. And the reason is it's a word that's almost inconceivable. A trillion seconds ago, when you factor in, Squirrel, the way we do our calendar, which isn't that old, leap year and the rest of it, a trillion seconds ago is 31,688 years ago. And yet, we have policies that spend trillions of dollars. And by the way, when I say that, policies where the money is gone. And it's a bipartisan problem. Everybody remembers the day before September 11th.
We are, as they say, tangled in our anchor chain. Our financial systems are decades old. According to some estimates, we cannot track $2.3 trillion in transactions. We cannot share information from floor to floor in this building because it's stored on dozens of different
And yet there are people who say, I'm a Republican, I don't care. I'm a Democrat, I hate it. And I got a phone call from a very, very dear friend of mine. Dear, dear friend of mine. She's a young girl. In my eyes, young. They're called millennials. And she's a wonderful girl and out of politics for many, many, many years. However, when she was in politics, she felt that she had to be on the blue team for a variety of different reasons, none of which apply to reality. And she called me today and said, what do you think about what's going on? And I said, I absolutely love it. Because for the first time, we have somebody that's breaking the tradition of blue team versus red team. Gets no credit for it, but the future will give credit. And the future will audit the financial crimes. This generation, these old codgers from 85 down to these new socialist, Marxist, cuckold communist imbeciles that make up Democrat congressmen and I guess women. And they will judge them exactly the way it should be judged, as financial criminals, as perpetrators of lies and frauds. And really, it's an old clip, but it's a perfect clip. And it was a young professor at the time. His name is James Wildman. And you can find the clip. It's all over the place. It's fantastic in explaining exactly how you add $30 trillion in 16 years, but how you allowed an election thief with dementia who clearly had soiled the trousers at least 3 times a day. That lying, cheating, buffoon.
And Joan Shingang, I'm going to pronounce it, Shanga Kawawa.
A sentence without one word. What did you go to CPS? And they accepted it as this imbecile spent $3 trillion on one policy. How did it get here?
Despite what you might be thinking, these two circles are not equal. I repeat, these two circles are not equal. One is in fact larger than the other. What I need you to do is determine which one that is. So, please raise your hand if you believe the blue circle is larger than the red. All right. Please raise your hand if you believe the red circle is larger than the blue. All right, very good. Now, before I said anything about these two circles, what was your first instinct? Equal, right? Because they look equal. And the reason why they look equal is because, in fact, they are equal. These two circles are identical. Yet I got just about every one of you to raise your hand and say that they're not. So what do we learn? That you can be manipulated like that to believe in something that goes against your natural instincts. Just imagine as a child you're taught that the blue circle is larger than the red. If you say it enough times, you convince yourself that's the truth. If you're told the lie enough times, it becomes part of your reality. And if enough people are taught that lie, that the blue circle is larger than the red, well, now it becomes part of the culture. And if that culture then passes that misinformation along to the next generation, well, now it becomes tradition. And what we have to remember is that just because...
Do you understand that? And that is the lie, the fraud that has been used to change the trajectory of our financial future, each and every one of us. But in the worst areas, run by the biggest liars and frauds, it has destroyed what is often referred to, wrongfully I made it, as the middle class. What it has destroyed is your dollars. Your dollars. And one moron president, one, eroded 30+ cents a dollar. One. In the name of a fraud.
New this morning, President Trump orders the U.S. Navy to attack boats that are placing...
That's all right, Squirrel. That's all right. We'll do the wrong clip. And what I meant by that was this simple plan.
The Biden administration is granting $20 billion for more clean energy projects. Lauren, where's the money going?
To help fund green projects in low-income communities.
That was just part of the agenda. The entire agenda was $3 trillion.
The Biden administration is considering as much as $3 trillion worth of measures to include in the long-term economic program. Bloomberg has learned the proposal will be presented to the president this week. Infrastructure and climate change have long been described as key efforts in the pending program, and the new details reportedly show the administration is eyeing some $400 billion for so-called green spending.
It's all gone. The money is all gone.
U.S. President Joe Biden on Thursday urged Congress to pass a $430 billion drugs and energy bill, saying it is the strongest way to fight inflation and would make significant progress toward achieving his climate goals.
Look, this bill is far from perfect. It's a compromise. But it's often how progress is made.
Here's the progress he speaks of. You remember the agenda. Everybody was going to love it. The poor people, the rich people, the middle people, and the workers. Oh, you guys were going to make an absolute fortune. It was going to be absolute utopia. However, how did it really turn out?
The U.S. government is committing to a $7.5 billion loan for 2 big electric vehicle battery plants in Kokomo.
Kokomo. We had $7.5 billion in Kokomo. How many billions in Kentucky? How many billions in Ohio? And that's how you compartmentalize the scam. And, when you look back and you think about Obama, who tested the waters with a very fancy, it was a palate cleanser now that you really think about it. Solyndra was a palate cleanser. That was nothing. That was before the appetizer. Squirrel, did you ever eat one of those fancy French meals? They give you that little sorbet. They call it a happy mouth. That was what Solyndra was.
Both swear that the testimony that you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
2 top executives of the now bankrupt solar power company Solyndra invoking the right under the U.S. Constitution to remain silent.
I respectfully decline to answer any questions.
You know why, Squirrel? They stole the money. And they gave a portion back to the campaign coffers of scum Democrats that would assure not only would they not be charged, and they weren't. They got away with it. And at the time, $500 million. But that's when real money was real money. And what happened after Barack Obama spent $9 trillion, after in the last year of the Trump administration, the Democrats fascistically took over everything and shut everything down and added $3 trillion to his budget, his deficit in 1 year. And Joe Biden added $9 trillion, 3 of it stolen in just this kind of swindle. What's your dollar worth today? You're going to talk about gas? You're going to talk about Iran? You're going to talk about fuel at the pump in Illinois or California versus the free states that don't partake? You see, the scandal is Democrats stole your money, and they did it knowingly.
Lee Zeldin, the EPA chief, and he said that he's been digging into that $29 billion in green energy grants that he blocked, money that he saved the American taxpayers. It was going out the door at the end of the Biden administration. He told me today he has found a major self-dealing scandal. In other words, Obama and Biden administration officials were moving money around to former cabinet secretaries, to donors, to political activists. Stacey Abrams, one of them, we know about that from our...
You remember Stacey Abrams? She was the one who made certain the election would be stolen in Georgia. She has the love handles on her neck, that fat pig. $2 billion. She never ran anything. The good news is you don't have to. To sell this bull dung, you don't ever have to do anything. Cuckold communists, Marxists, socialists, and any Democrat, you don't have to know anything. All you have to do is repeat the lie that is now tradition about your green energy scams. But what is the actual result of the trillions of dollars? You know what it is, Squirrel? Dark money campaigns in 2020 and 2019. Dark money, which goes out as policy, ends up in these NGOs that are all the vogue now, and turns out in the campaign coffers was about $900 million. The election year, when people pretended hadn't soiled his pants live on stage during the debate, and his victim, Doctor of Gatsangul, Jill, said she thought she was having a stroke. It was $4.9 billion in kickback schemes of money. And you know how you know, Squirrel? Because all their projects, all of them, they're all bankrupt like Solyndra today.
A major electric vehicle battery factory in Kentucky has abruptly shut down just months after opening, leaving about 1,600 workers without jobs and sparking outrage among workers, local officials, and community leaders. The $5.8 billion facility, a joint venture between Ford Motor Company and South Korean partner SK On, was supposed to drive EV battery production in the U.S. and support regional economic growth.
But now, no. And the money is gone. There are no jobs. The building is vacant. People haven't been paid. And where's the $5.8 billion? Well, that's nothing. compared to the 7.4.
Ford announces major changes at one of its Kentucky plants that could impact hundreds of local workers. The auto giant plans to convert its electric vehicle battery plant in Glendale to manufacture battery energy storage systems.
The changes. Oh, yeah. They built 2 there. This one's gone too. 2 plants, 5-point-something billion, 7-point-something billion, gone in the wind. What about in Missouri?
A $500 million battery plant for St. Louis is canceled. The manufacturing company ICL Group decided to pull out after the Trump administration canceled a grant of almost $200 million. The developer was going to build the 19-acre site in North St. Louis in the city's Carondelet neighborhood.
All of it. All these businesses. All the solar panel. All of it. The money is in the wind. And you're talking $3 trillion. And you think Trump is driving up inflation? Joe Biden made it normal. 11%, 8%, 7%. When that stupid idiot would come out and say it's not bad, it's not 11%, the imbeciles calling themselves Democrats cheered. And why wouldn't they? What the frack do they know about economics?
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets, some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do?
Now that stupid idiot, failure and fraud, has a degree in music, and he was the highest economic advisor to the president, dimwit in diapers, Joe Biden. In fact, if you know anything about economics, you cannot be a Democrat by definition, as they have no economics. Whether they call it socialism or Marxism or communism or social justice, do you know what it really is, Squirrel? It's a opportunity to steal other people's money. So when I hear Paul Krugman pretend he's going to do what to me? What are you going to do to me, you fish face, low-life, pansy, pussy willow? What are you going to do?
We need to defang Trump as much as possible and make sure that neither he nor anybody who follows in his footsteps has power after the next 2 elections. But beyond that, we really need to do a thorough purging of the United States. We need a demogrification, and that is, I'm not going over the top by using a word that's very similar to the denazification that we pursued successfully after World War II in Germany.
Are you as good at fighting as you are economics? Because I'll go in the front line. Will you, fish face? Because I'll eat your face. So any of you Democrats, I don't give a rip if you're from Portland or Jersey or wherever you're from. Come and get some. And stop talking, pansies. 312-642-5600.
Call Shaun now. 312-642-5600.
It is that time of year again to save babies by providing ultrasounds with our friends at Preborn. You know how this goes. We've done it every single year at this time. All you have to do is pick up the phone and say, I want to provide a free ultrasound to a girl. Give her the chance to see the truth of what's happening in her body. Every $28 helps do that, saving 1 baby. $280 can do that, help save 10 babies. More does more. The phone number is 833-850-2229. 833-850-BABY. Join us saving babies with Preborn again this year. We're going to save hundreds of babies, 1 at a time, 2 or 5 or 10 at a time. That phone number again is 833-850-BABY. That's 833-850-2229. Or go online to 560theanswer.com/baby.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
The bar's set with Top Shelf Country Cruise, and 2027 is taking it even further. You're not going to want to miss this. Sail aboard the luxurious Celebrity Summit, departing from Tampa, stopping at Bimini, Key West, and Cozumel, and catch performances by Riley Green, Chris Young, Lauren Elena, and Randy Hauser. Introducing the exclusive Veranda Plus stateroom with these amazing perks. Embarkation day lunch, daily breakfast in blue, afternoon hors d'oeuvres, and a beverage package, all included. Reserve now at TopShelfCountryCruise.com.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the Made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
AM 560, The Answer.
In 1943, the following directive was issued from party headquarters to all communists in the United States. It read, "When certain obstructionists become too irritating, label them after suitable buildups as fascist or Nazi or anti-Semitic, and use the prestige of anti..."
It's funny. I always get Paul Krugman. He's got that no chin, and he has a beard where it almost, he wants it to look like he has a chin, that fish face piece of garbage. I always get him confused with that other idiot labor secretary for Bill Clinton, Robert Reich. Another economic advisor to Democrats who doesn't have a degree in economics, never worked a fracking day in his life. But Paul Krugman has that in common. He's never worked a day in his life. And he's obviously too stupid to know Nazi is the National Socialist Worker Party, like the Democrats.
We need to defang Trump as much as possible and make sure that neither he nor anybody who follows in his footsteps has power after the next two elections. But beyond that, we really need to do a thorough purging of the United States. We need a demogrification, and that is, I'm not going over the top by using a word that's very similar to the denazification that we pursued successfully after World War II in Germany.
Well, when you go after George Soros, who was part of the Nazi group, who was the youth Nazi, who not only told where the other Jews were, he helped take their assets, then I'll get nervous. Besides, you've never done anything in your life. You'll get your ass kicked like every other Democrat. Mike, Yorkville.
Shaun, good afternoon. I know you said Robert Reich, but I always remember how Rush Limbaugh would always introduce him on air. But then you also brought up our favorite faux politician, Stacey Abrams. Each time I see her, I always think she's the rib-eating champion of the world with that gap in between her teeth.
Well, how about $2 billion in the name of green energy, that fat, election-stealing fraud pig? $2 billion. That's 2,000 million.
That's what I want to talk about. This is how bad the fraud and just the policies of our government have subjugated its citizenry that we do not get out there and protest. I mean, everything should be stopped, where people get out in the streets and they say no more. But we're so enamored, we're having difficulty just trying to live life, that now having the idea of not taking our own time to go out in the street to protest these idiots that are just...
So you know the difference.
They're bankrupting us, they're bankrupting the nation, and then they want to throw it into all this solar power. You think we're not smart enough to say, you could have took all that money and everything else, put it in nuclear power, and we would have been fine. Invest in the infrastructure of this country. We would have been fine. Unions would have been working. Everybody would have been great. But no, we have to put it in something that could get damaged by a hailstorm or a windstorm, and you don't have that power anymore, and then guess what? Your rates go up even more.
Protesting to a certain extent. is an act of futility. And let me give you another example. What'd you do today? Today's what, a Wednesday? What'd you do? What time did you wake up?
I was up at 5.
You're up at 5, and then I'm going to assume you went to work, right? What'd you do?
Well, I try to get a little bit of workout in, and then I go to work.
Okay, so you work out, you go to work, and now you're on your way home, and you're going to go home and provide for your family, and you're going to be a good husband, dad, whatever the case is, right? That's what your days consist of, correct? And you do that.
Right.
How many days a week do you do that?
Almost feels like 7 days a week, but I'm actually working 5.
Yeah, but you are. You're working 7. What do you think when you look at TV and you look at these fat pigs, these scumbags, these frauds, these trans-testicle freaks? What do you think they do every day? This is the most activity their useless existence ever got. So the way that we protest the decent is you have to go to high ground, brother. I've been saying it since the day I got on this show. You go to high ground. Because, we don't have to protest here. You know what the big fear is in decent states? You don't have to be Florida. Pick one of the 11. You know what the big fear is? Is that some scumbag Democrat's going to move next door and vote Democrat. That's the big fear.
Well,
that's all we protest. Yeah.
That's the problem. You get people that leave Illinois, and I feel like you should have to have an application to move another state. You're like a virus.
Can I tell you something? I'm dead serious. I told Honey Bunny, this happened to me about 3 months ago, 2.5 months ago. There was a guy right when I pull out of my little area here. I pull out and I'm on the main road and I see a Bronco with an Illinois plate. And right away, when I see that Illinois plate, it's just your eye starts to twitch and you think to yourself, you better not be moving here, you stupid son of a gun. Sure enough, he's going the wrong speed limit. He doesn't know his ass from his elbow. And I pull up next to him. I go, hey, you're not moving here. What part of Illinois are you from? That's all I said to him. You know what he said to me? Shaun, we love your show. The people down here from Illinois are the people like me and you. They're running. Come down here. It's great. I can't find a Democrat. From a bar back to the guy who owns the restaurant to the cop that pulls you over. Everybody's decent. It's nothing like Chicago. Thank you, brother. 312-642-5600.
What if everything you've been told about government, health care, poverty, energy, and even science is a carefully constructed lie? In Shaun Thompson's new book, What If It's All a Lie? Shaun Thompson dismantles the myths at the core of modern America. This is the book the ruling class doesn't want you to read. And once you do, you won't see the world the same way again. Order your copy today at ShaunThompsonShow.com/book.
Concordia University Chicago is hosting a conference for Christian laity featuring Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, Molly Hemingway of Fox News, Megan Basham of The Daily Wire, and Aaron Hawley of Alliance Defending Freedom. The 2026 Issues Etc. Making the Case Conference, Friday, June 12th and Saturday, June 13th at Concordia University Chicago. Learn more at issuesetc.org. issuesetc.org.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
All right, I'm driving back for the golf outing, and I can't wait to do it. I love it. I like the fact that I could drive to. I could stop in the decent states before I have to go into Illinois, rather than just land in Michelle Obama's underwear drawer called O'Hare with that stink, that funk of failure, corruption, and loss at O'Hare. But that doesn't exist at McRae Memorial Golf Club. where we have our annual golf outing, June 15th. Be there, be square. Sponsored in part, as always, by Signature Bank. And this is the best part of best parts. A piece of every dollar from the ticket to any dollar that's spent during the outing goes to Tunnel to Towers Foundation that has not only done so much for first responders in Chicago, policemen, firemen, but for veterans in the entire country, as they have bought defunct hotels mainly in Democrat dungholes because nobody can run business. So let's capitalize on it. After all, we're capitalists. They buy the hotel at a steep discount. They transform it to individual studio apartments. They take the lobby where the hotel was. They have treatment centers for drug abuse. They have treatment centers to teach the veterans to relearn, to have usable skills to go out and get jobs. Tunnel to Towers is the best, bar none, foundation you can be affiliated with, and a piece of every dollar goes to them. Now, if you make the decisions for a business and you buy a foursome, well, then we here at AM 560 give you 25 one-minute commercials to air right here 7 days a week, 5 in the morning to 8 in the evening, the most important times. We have twosomes and we have foursomes. If you only have one, you're the only one, just tell them, my friends can't get off. Can you put me with another group? They're going to help you in any way they can because, not just because of AM 560, because we're a little family. We get together. We give you a golf-free experience without a moron, without a Kamala Harris voter, a Joe Biden voter, or anybody who thinks Barack Obama was really from Chicago and his wife is pretty. Nobody there has an IQ dumb enough to be a Democrat. So I highly recommend you go to 560theanswer.com/golf. That's 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by real estate broker Ed Dring. Online at leaving-i-l.com. See what he did there, Squirrel? I did too. When we get back, we're going to go with Adam, John, Glenn. Somebody else is coming in. 312-642-5600 if you care to participate after Mike Scott.
A mostly sunny and warm afternoon, a high of 83. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. There are still some key races to be decided after 6 states held primary elections yesterday. In California, races for governor and L.A. mayor are still up in the air. Republican Steve Hilton leading that gubernatorial race.
It looks very much as if Californians really will have the chance to vote for change in November.
Illinois Comptroller Susana Mendoza announced today she'll run again for mayor of Chicago in next year's election. Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas and Representative Mike Quigley have also said they're interested in running. Chicago fire officials say 3 were pulled to safety from a blaze early this morning that erupted on the far south side in the Roseland community. And history is on the move, and right now, you can see it in West Chicago. Union Pacific's Big Boy number 4014, the world's largest operating steam locomotive, can be viewed today at the Union Pacific Training Center in West Chicago. The news, a service of Fox Valley Coins. Bring that gold or silver in store today. Each item priced right in front of you. The coins never leave your sight at foxvalleycoins.com. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. Up next, a check of the roads with Jill Urchek.
On the Edens going in, it's 48 minutes. Lake Cook Road to Montrose at Elston. There is an accident in the left lane. The outbound side is fine. Kennedy out 50 downtown to O'Hare. Slowing in the express Armitage to Keeler. Outbound Eisenhower an hour. Post office to 390. And the Stevenson outbound 50 due Saba Lakeshore Drive to 355. The Dan Ryan outbound 38 slowing in the express there as well. 51st to Marquette. The outbound 4 to crash at 130th in the left lane. Either way, it slows on the Tri-State and DuSable Lakeshore Drive, eastbound Reagan. There is an accident at Cermak, and that one is blocking the right lane. Still along the Jane Addams, southbound 355, right near the Reagan, there is a crash there as well. Northbound Route 53, the exit ramp to westbound Lake Cook Road, that is closed with an accident. And northbound 65, the entrance ramp from 8094, has a crash as well. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a low of 63. Tomorrow, Thursday, will bring partly sunny conditions and very warm temperatures with a high of 88. In the afternoon, it'll be breezy. Thursday night will be partly cloudy and warm with a low of 69. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast, free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Picture warm Gulf breezes, turquoise waters, white sand beaches. Now, add evenings of conversation with Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, and Jennifer Horn. This November, sail from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Mexico on a 7-day journey built for those who love this country. Book your cabin today when you text the word cruise to 94878. Celebrate America's 250th anniversary the right way on the Gulf of America Cruise. Book your cabin now. Text the word cruise to 94878.
Hello? Sir, this is Officer Peterson. There's been a string of break-ins in the area, and your office, it was hit. Hit? What do you mean? We were robbed? Looks like the back door lock was easily pried open, and they moved through the building like they knew exactly what to take. We see wires everywhere. No computers. What? No computers? I just upgraded everything. Looks like they moved fast. We only found out because a neighboring business had their alarm go off. Do you have any security cameras?
No. Nothing.
Don't wait until it's too late. Goldilocks protects Chicagoland businesses with custom security solutions. From reinforced commercial doors with keyless entry to cameras and 24/7 monitoring that alerts authorities immediately. Schedule a free on-site assessment at GoldilocksInc.com. Again, that's GoldilocksInc.com. Plus, AM 560 listeners get their first 3 months of monitoring free with a new install. Call 708-889-5600. That's 708-889-5600. Goldilocks, Chicago's premier locksmith, doors, and security systems company since 1981.
You smell that? Spring. Hibernation's over. It's time to run it. Run it until the grass becomes long and the hedges duck and cover. Then, run it again. Still, get up to $50 off select AK battery tool sets. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Selling your firearms? Get top dollar from national collectors. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
By the way, there's something not right with this fracking scumbag Tom Steyer other than being a Democrat. He's got a peculiar look in his eye. Are you another pedophile, Tom? You look like one. Not as creepy as a Podesta or an Emmanuel, but you're close, Tom. You're close. There's something askew with those snake eyes you got.
What do you say to voters that are struggling right now to pay rent, gas prices? What would you do to lower those costs for them?
Well, let me say, what I say to those people is, I'm your guy. I'm the person who's willing to take on the electric monopolies, the only person. I'm the person who's willing to go after the oil companies and claw back some of the money that they're gouging at the pump.
The oil companies make 1/10 of what the state of California makes. And by the way, what's that with your voice? You sound like you spent a lot of time with Kamala Harris. Phil, Tinley Park.
Hey, Shaun, I think states in the United States reflect their history, even if it's not the same, as it was in the past. But I think, like, for example, and this is going towards the Nick Shirley stuff, but Minnesota, kind of naive, maybe it still has that naive belief in good government. California was once a big libertarian state, so smaller government. So those were good targets for Nick Shirley. But what's our tradition, the tradition of gangsterism? And when my research shows me, we already had our Democrats here are so diabolically cunning that they already had Nick Shirley laws. For example, to go to go up to, for instance, an autism center in Illinois, that there's a law against that. They saw Nick Shirley coming.
Listen to me, brother. Listen to me, Phil. And I'm dead serious about this. One of the most well-known gangster, thug, political power brokers, and low-life rent dime store gangster was Ed Burke. And everybody knew it. Everybody knew it for 50 years. His wife, at 43, her second job was the Chief Justice of the Illinois Supreme Court. Come on, man. I mean, seriously, Phil. That is stuff that Sicilians dream of and cannot do. Illinois is the mafia, Democrat mafia state of the entire country and its entire history. There has never been a more corrupt state, ever. So the insulation, it runs layers and layers deep. Graylord was nothing. That's who they caught. Who they didn't catch is who made certain that fat-ass gangster, limp Ed Burke, his wife was the Chief Justice on the Illinois Supreme Court. Get the hell out of there. Thank you very much.
We all feel it. I mean, we all feel it.
Well, you know why I did the show? Listen to me.
The fear, like people wonder, someone was wondering, maybe it was Dan the other day, like, why don't we just have a Nick Shirley right here in Illinois, to do all that? I mean, Nick Shirley, he may never come here, and
he'll get killed. Come on, they'll get killed. Yeah. What are you, nuts? You got guys in that city that'll kill you for a double sawbuck. You don't think they'll kill you to allow to steal billions and billions? They call it balanced budget. They get $49.6 billion from the federal government. It's a financial crime. It's not a state. Thank you very much. Where are we going to go? John, Portage Park.
Yeah, Shaun. I got to tell you, I'm 63 years old. I get a pension from the Army, so I don't got much to do. And so I went to see this punk. They killed that copper.
Yeah, you mean the nephew of the chief of internal affairs for the Chicago Police Department? Yeah.
But so I went to see him to see what an animal looks like, and if I got behind him, I could snap his neck like a twig silently in less than 2 seconds, and he would fucking.
Hit the button, Squirrel. Thank you, John. I can't. It wasn't me. It was Squirrel. He had to let you go. We can't swear, John, but I love and appreciate. And I wallow in your anger. I love it, which is why these filthy scum, which is completely compliant with the FCC, wouldn't stand a chance. So when you hear some butter-handed, sissy, pansy, pussy willow like Paul Krugman tell us he's going to put us in camps, try it. I'll be right next to him. See how you do. You ain't going to do too good. Glenn, Orlando.
Shaun. Listen, George Floyd had enough fentanyl in his system.
Hold on a minute. Let's celebrate. He just passed 6 years sober. All right, go ahead.
He had enough fentanyl in his system to kill 3 grown adult men for 2 state behavior.
Well, he had a high tolerance, Glenn. He's been doing drugs for 40 years, the useless piece of garbage that he was. Yeah. You're talking about the rapist and the kidnapper and the all-around degenerate pig that the Marxist mafia used as an excuse to shut down and rob businesses? Yeah, I understand, Glenn. Screw him and everybody that celebrates him. Audrey, Oak Forest.
Oh, thanks, Shaun. I love your program as always.
Thank you, Audrey. I love your name.
Thank you. Bremen Township is having an event this coming Saturday. Celebrating the 250th birthday of our country. And we'd like to invite your audience to come and enjoy free cake and ice cream. It's from 1 to 3 at El Moro Park in Oak Forest. And the address is 15500 Aurora, ARROYY Drive in Oak Forest. We're having a face painter from 2 to 3. And we'll have David Chitokas. We'll discuss the Constitution. Remember, this is a free event, and it's going to go on rain or shine because we have all this ice cream.
I can't think of a better reason, Audrey. Thank you very, very much for letting everybody know. I truly appreciate it. Eduardo, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, thank you very much. As you know, Karen Bass did some studying over there in Cuba. So
she's a communist whore.
Yeah. I don't know what they were thinking about voting for her, but hopefully she'll go down in defeat in November. And
well, brother, listen to me. She went down in defeat yesterday. The machines are rigged. They're rigged. You need at least 3-1 to tie.
So desired result. Yep. Yeah. And I got a question for you, Shaun. Are there people coming out of the sewers like in New York and Chicago?
Well, those are Democrats, and they're
Sure,
primarily and they're just coming out for checks and whatnot. But you know what? The nice thing is we don't have them here in Florida. We just have crocodiles, which are much easier to negotiate with. And do you know a crocodile refuses to take any health benefits or SNAP? It's absolutely. I far prefer the crocodile, even an alligator from time to time. Those are East Coast, though, the alligators. You got to keep your eye on them. They're probably hooked on drugs. Thank you very much, Eduardo. And when it comes to what happened in California, this was so uncomfortable for MSNBC. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Because he's speaking out against communism and socialism, and it is a real big problem in our cities, especially in LA where it's turned to crap. It's not an accident. They're doing it by design. Karen Bass wants to destroy our city, and it's nice to see someone like Spencer Pratt.
I can simplify it because those buzzwords are like they melt the brains of like left, leaning people. So let's just say it this way. He doesn't want human feces to be a part of your life. Yeah. He doesn't want homeless children outside.
Totally.
Homeless
Thank
people
you.
outside. Oh, you didn't like that. You ran away. He doesn't want homeless people.
Everyone knows if it's on the boob tube, it's propaganda. We'll be back.
Broadcasting from the petri dish of corruption known as the state of Illinois.
In the upper Midwest, the nation, and around the world.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Business owners, now's the time for your business to make the move to a locally owned business bank. Hi, Mike Gallagher here to let you know that you don't have to look far. Signature Bank was founded in Chicago with a simple mission to help companies like yours grow, succeed, and thrive. Their decisions are made locally by a terrific team that knows your name, cares about your business, and invests in your success. That's why Signature Bank is my bank. I'm a customer. As business owners, they knew that local family-owned businesses were not getting the help they needed or deserved. So I invite you to reach out to my friends at Signature Bank today. Write the number down. Remember this phone number, Signature Bank, 773-467-5630, and learn all about this great bank, 773-467-5630, or visit them online at signaturebank.bank. That's signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank makes commercial banking personal. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Perhaps you're a collector. Or perhaps, all of a sudden, you have a collection. Maybe it's an inheritance. How do you know what it's worth? This is Shaun Thompson for Donley Auction. The market for antiques and collectibles is changing all the time. What is your collection worth right now? Well, I've got an easy way to find out. It's simple. You contact Donley Auctions. With their worldwide audience of live and in-person auctions, they have a good idea of how to tell you exactly what it's worth at exactly right now. They're ready to put top dollar in your pocket. The bigger the collection, the better. Go to DonleyAuctions.com and get the info on all things that they buy and sell to have an idea of exactly what Donley does and how much they need your collection. They have so many buyers, it's a great time to sell. Just simply make a phone call. Donley has traveled all over the country to pick up collections. Just call and talk to the people at Donley Auctions at 815-923-7000. Donley Auctions is your trusted partner in turning your collections into cash. DonleyAuctions.com.
Are you 65 or older and dealing with chronic knee or shoulder pain? You're not alone. At the Joint Relief Institute, we've helped thousands find real relief without surgery. Our non-surgical, FDA-approved treatment uses hyaluronic gel that acts like a cushion between the bones in your knee. As we age, the cushion naturally wears down, causing painful grinding and popping. But our gel restores that cushion, allowing your knee to move smoothly again. Ready to stop the pain and get back to doing what you love? Call the Joint Relief Institute at 708-315-6800. Again, that's 708-315-6800.
Move better, live better with JRI.
Move better and live better with JRI. Contact the Joint Relief Institute today and get back to doing what you love. Call 708-315-6800 or visit jointreliefinstitute.com. Locations in Glenview, Oak Brook, and Orland Park. Call 708-315-6800. Medicare and most private insurance plans accepted. Reclaim your mobility with the Joint Relief Institute.
The Federal Reserve has just announced a change in leadership, and that could have a profound impact on the value of your retirement. That's why now, more than ever, you need Advantage Gold, the #1 precious metals company in America. Call Advantage Gold right now at 800-900-8000 and get your free gold and silver investor guide, a $49 value, plus a free copy of Ken Rogoff's latest book, Our Dollar, Your Problem, giving you powerful insight into the future of money, markets, and global currency trends. Our specialists can help you open a new account or transfer funds from an existing IRA, tax and penalty free. Markets are unpredictable and they can turn fast, but precious metals are a safe haven asset that stand the test of time and volatile market conditions. The question isn't if the next shift is coming, it's when. Are you positioned? Don't miss this opportunity. Call Advantage Gold now at 800-900-8000. Results may vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
AM 560. The Answer.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was in the foothills of the Himalayas with Xi Jinping, traveling with
Shut
him.
the frack up, traitor! Election thief scum. Dave in Orlando.
Hey, Shaun. Listen, I've seen so much of the Dr. Jill show these days. How's Joe Biden doing?
Well, first of all, Dave, you know how they got him up right in the first place, right? It's the formaldehyde, Starbucks, and Viagra shot straight into his eyeball. But he made a rare appearance today. Maybe you missed. Did you miss it? Did you miss the appearance today?
No. Yeah, I missed it.
Oh, here it is.
Where was he?
Oh, Joe has a question. Like you couldn't ask it later?
Who do you love most in the whole world?
Whoopi.
And Dave, the reason she said that is because when Joe Biden first started to molest her, she was a 15-year-old babysitter for him and his wife. That sick bastard pedophile that he is. What do you think of that?
I think it's spot on, buddy. Have a good day.
You too. It's despicable. And there's pictures out there. Well, then there's the daughter's diary. She complained to friends he liked to shower with her. But they're Democrats, and they expect that. Even in the court system, if they're Democrats, expect shenanigans.
Federal judge and a high-ranking Atlanta police official are at the center of explosive allegations.
It involves sexual encounters inside the judge's chambers during work hours.
One court clerk testified to hearing what was described as unsettling noises, kissing, and music coming from the judge's chambers.
Get your freak on! It better be Teddy Pendergrass. She still can't find her gavel. Where's the handle? Son of a gun. Adam, Lake Bluff.
Hi, Shaun. Anyways, I found the name of the imam, and his name is Abu, and then you spell his last name Z-U-B, and then B-A-H. So that's the name of the guy that was in Aviano Air Base.
Very good. Well, good.
He didn't land there. They probably didn't know because they probably touched down, fixed the plane,
because you know this show now. Just so you know, Adam, we're in 20 different countries right now, and just a mere mention of that name made goats shiver across the entire Middle East. George, Naperville.
Yes, Jill and Joe are the Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor of this time.
It's absolutely fantastic, and
They're
nobody
America's couple.
Oh, absolutely. And that's not a lot of talk. Not a lot of talk about exactly how he met her, or even better, how is she a doctor?
I see a yellow duck looking at me. Yellow duck, what do you see? I see a... Shut the
Hey! We'll be back.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
And now it's time for the Cat's Corner.
This is John Catsimatidis, the Cat's Corner. Well, I remember the movie Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. What happened? We have too many politicians in Washington that know nothing about business. Why? We need more common sense in Washington. Whether we're talking about the federal government, state government, you need common sense. We need the balance of power in our government. Doctors, lawyers, accountants, professionals, business people, and blue-collar workers. And that's the only way we can come out with common sense. Putting on taxes and regulations without knowledge of what happens. Some of the states are not doing a good job. All they do is raise taxes. And then when they need more money, they tax the taxes. I mean, you got to laugh about it, but it's happening. We need people that have common sense, a balance of power in all our legislative functions to be able to operate our country, our states, our cities more efficiently. This is John Catsimatidis, the Cat's Corner.
Every morning, students and faculty fill your school's hallways. And every morning, parents trust you to know who's there with them. With ID Supply, that trust is earned and visible. From student and staff ID cards to secure visitor badge systems, ID Supply helps you instantly identify who belongs on campus at a glance, while keeping your entire facility safer. Visitor badges expire automatically, so no one stays longer than they should. And parents, they can feel confident knowing their school has a system in place. Need supplies? We've got you covered. ID card printers, ribbons, and custom lanyards in your school colors. Most orders ship same day. Parents, if your child's school doesn't have a visitor ID system, ask them about ID Supply, because knowing who's on campus shouldn't be a question. Get 10% off your first order with code SCHOOL10. That's SCHOOL10. Visit idsupply.com or call 800-647-5562. Again, that's 800-647-5562. ID Supply, trusted by schools for over 20 years.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
There's a rule in sales, Squirrel. It's called the 80-20 rule. You know what I've noticed? It's the same when it comes to lawyers. About 80% are low-life rat Democrats. The other 20% are offended because they understand the principles of Americanism, the principles of the Enlightenment, of what American law for the individual is supposed to be the shield. My next guest is one of those lawyers. I'm always proud to be joined by Zach Smith of the Heritage Foundation. We'll discuss the low-life Democrat judge in Georgia getting stooped in her office and so much more after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. Sunny and warm with a high near 83 today. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Kuwait briefly shut down its main airport today after Iranian drones heavily damaged a passenger terminal building, killing an Indian national. Ukrainian long-range drones have struck an oil terminal in St. Petersburg, Russia, setting it ablaze. The attack comes as the Russian city hosts a major event for attracting foreign capital. Illinois Comptroller Susana Mendoza announcing today she will run again for mayor of Chicago in next year's election. 9 people, including 8 teens, were arrested Monday night in Naperville after a reported teen takeover. A homicide investigation is underway after a man was killed and another badly hurt in a shooting on the city's far south side late Tuesday night in the 400 block of West 98th Street. White Sox battling Minnesota today while the Cubs take on the A's tonight. The news, a service of the AM 560 Advantage, where membership has its privileges, including special members-only content. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The major averages tumbled Wednesday and broke a long winning streak as the latest skirmish between the U.S. and Iran pushed up oil prices. The Dow closed down 620 points, the S&P 500 tumbled 56 points, and the Nasdaq declined 239 points. According to Reuters, SpaceX could go public at $135 per share. That listing is expected next week. Meta Platforms has launched a global customer service AI agent for businesses. That's available on Instagram. That agent can answer customer questions and even close sales. Waymo is trying to make getting into its self-driving cars a little less anxiety-inducing. The company's rolling out new robo-taxis. They have more room to stretch out and bigger screens to control the ride. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Angelo Bavaro, invested in you.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft, but that's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If they find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes in your financial accounts, they'll alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that can make all the difference. Save up to 30% off your first year with the promo code BECK. LifeLock.com, 800-LifeLock, 1-800-LifeLock, or LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK at LifeLock.com.
Now that spring is here, it's time for some spring home maintenance.
That's cold!
Hot water issues? Call Center Guard Plumbing. Right now, get a new 40-gallon atmospheric vent water heater installed for just $1,295 standard installation, or a 50-gallon for $1,395 standard installation, with free haul away of your old tank. A proud sponsor of AM 560, you'll save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on tankless and atmospheric vent water heaters with Center Guard Plumbing. Plus, get 10% off any licensed plumbing contractor competitor's price. Center Guard Plumbing is Chicagoland's same-day water heater experts. Call before noon, and they can schedule your repair or install the same day on in-stock water heaters. You're only a text away from install today. Call 847-406-8883. Mention AM 560 to receive spring special pricing. That's 847-406-8883. Call or text 847-406-8883 or visit centerguardplumbing.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Good news, that accident on the inbound Edens at Elston is gone. The bad news is it's still 50 minutes in from Lake Cook Road to Montrose, but the outbound side's okay. Kennedy 50 downtown to the airport. Eisenhower 1 hour and 5. Post office to 390. Stevenson in as a stall at Kedzie, blocking the right lane. 45 going in the reverse is an hour. Outbound Dan Ryan 38 minutes to get to 95th. I-57 inbound, an accident reported near the Ryan, and the outbound Ford has an accident at 130th in the left lane. Busy conditions along DuSable Lakeshore Drive and the Tri-State either way. Eastbound Reagan, a crash at Cermak, and southbound 355, one at the Reagan. This report is the service of Salem Surround, a local digital marketing agency providing high-performing digital solutions. To surround your target audience, go to surroundchicago.com today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a low of 63. Moving into Thursday, anticipate partly sunny conditions with very warm temperatures and breezy winds in the afternoon. The high will reach 88 degrees. Thursday night will bring partly cloudy skies and continued warmth with a low of 69. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry and all guns. I love property. And let me tell you something. If you care about your country, read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white,
It's true, Squirrel. The youngest and the richest country in history with the highest quality of life. And capitalism is by far the best economic system any country could adopt, but moreover, the one all countries must adopt. So capitalism is 90% of it all. But what is capitalism? It's property rights. It's propertyism. It doesn't exist without law. That's why when someone's an officer of the court, it's a big deal. It used to be before our country devolved into a third world mafia ghetto, especially in Democrat areas. And that's why when you hear a story about a judge getting stooped in her office, it's more than just hysterical, which it is. Get some!
Federal judge and a high-ranking Atlanta police official are at the center of explosive allegations.
It involves sexual encounters inside the judge's chambers during work hours.
One court clerk testified to hearing what was described as unsettling noises, kissing, and music coming from the judge's chamber.
Better be Teddy Pendergrass, or it's definitely going to be a felony. It might be one anyway. Do you know why I learned that, Squirrel? Because I follow a good lawyer, officer of the court, man of character and integrity. He wouldn't dirty himself by living in a Democrat area. He's my fellow Floridian, Jack Smith, senior legal fellow for Heritage Foundation. Zach, how are you, Zach?
I'm doing well, Shaun. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
Very good. You know, Zach, when you wrote the article, I first of all, I think it's just another example of low-living Democrats with titles. You know, we had a Mayor Daley who I don't think could read, couldn't pass the bar. He had some scallywag take it for him in private session. He became a lawyer, and they use it pretty much for a license to steal. You've heard the jokes. But the reality is, a lawyer is supposed to be of a different standard, an officer of the court. You're supposed to stand for something. You're supposed to represent something. In particular, when you become a judge, well, that's supposed to be the big leagues, right? You're not supposed to be smuggling illegal aliens underneath your robe like that big fat slob built like Alfred Hitchcock in Wisconsin, let alone the other scandals we see. This is the second judge in a week. The other one had to admit in front of a court that she, yes, was sleeping with the receiver of the court. It's pathetic what we're living through, isn't it?
Well, look, Shaun, the allegations are actually far more troubling than you alluded to. Yes, they're very salacious, having sexual conduct in her office that's inappropriate, that her staff could hear. That's bad. She shouldn't do it. There's no doubt about that. But what's even worse in some ways is that when confronted with the allegations, she lied. And she didn't just lie once. She lied multiple times to multiple people who were investigating whether, in fact, she had broken her oath to uphold the rule of law, to follow the judicial code of conduct. She lied about it. And it wasn't until a formal committee had been appointed to investigate her conduct, it wasn't until that committee had begun its investigation, expended a lot of time, a lot of resources, that finally she retained counsel and admitted to her inappropriate conduct and that she had, in fact, lied at the outset. Now, as you mentioned, Shaun, I pointed out in an article I wrote, you can find it on my X feed, at TZ Smith. That's at TZ Smith. That's not just bad. That's not just a violation of the Judicial Code of Conduct. That is a federal felony offense. 18 U.S.C. 1001 makes it a crime to lie during the course of an investigation such as this judge was subject to. And so the only question to my mind is, will this judge have the decency and good sense to resign in disgrace, or will the House of Representatives be forced to begin impeachment proceedings?
You know, Zach, this is an interesting point, and it really traces back to the problem in our society, which is not specifically or exclusively a policy. It's the character of the people who implement the policy, the character of the people who oversee the policy. It's this fact that and you know, Zach, this is why after every one of these cases, after every one of these policies that becomes a money laundering scheme, the perpetrators, it should be known what their party affiliation is. I believe this is 100% Democrat and 80% Republican. But the people who are turning to the system of law, which is what the country is based in, and the enforcement of righteous law, deserve to know who the judges are in the areas they reside, because the oath doesn't mean anything, Zach, to a liar. A liar can never take an oath. It doesn't mean anything. They're pathological. And you see the candidate in Maine. Is he really different from the mayors of Chicago or New York or California? This is a party-exclusive problem. And to turn over our elections and the results, that's dumber than turning over the policies in the first place, isn't it?
Well, look, here's a couple of problematic things that have come out of this investigation, these revelations that have come out. The first is the federal judiciary that was tasked with conducting this investigation. Do you know what the penalty they imposed on this judge, Shaun? What they said should happen to her for engaging in inappropriate sexual conduct in her office, for lying to investigators, and then inappropriately attending a partisan political event for a district attorney that she was nominally friends with. Do you know what the committee tasked with investigating this said should happen? They said she should get a private reprimand where her name wouldn't even be publicly released. Now, to my mind, that is an insulting penalty for the admitted misconduct that this judge committed. The second thing I'll say, at least when this happened recently, something similar happened to a Republican-appointed judge. That judge resigned. He resigned because he knew if he didn't, he would be impeached. And so, again, it comes back to my original question, Shaun. Why hasn't this judge already resigned? And if she won't resign, why haven't impeachment proceedings already begun?
So let me ask a question of the way in which I view it, too. It also, as far as I'm concerned, it disqualifies everything she resided over, every case.
Right.
If you are one of the people who have been a victim of this particular scallywag whore, I want the judgment thrown out. I want my case thrown out. This is supposed to be the officer of the court, the highest example of what happens in a proceeding, the person who resides over the integrity of evidence. She has none. She cannot do her job. She has proven herself unable to tell the truth. She can't represent it. I think every case that she resided over should be thrown out, and the people have a claim against the state, against the very institution that gave her this power.
Well, let's be clear, Shaun. This is a federal judge we're talking about. And so here's part of the problem with that private reprimand. Parties don't know formally who this individual, who this judge is, at least as part of this investigation. And so they don't even know whether they need to file motions to recuse, whether this judge would be improperly biased toward their claims. Now, there has been a lot of public reporting, a lot of speculation about who this judge is based on the facts that were released during the investigation. And so as a result of that public reporting, Harmeet Dillon, the Assistant Attorney General for the U.S. Civil Rights Division, actually filed a motion to recuse against the reported federal judge there in the Atlanta, Georgia area, because that judge, who was part of her admitted misconduct, inappropriately attended a partisan political fundraiser for a Democratic district attorney candidate. That judge is overseeing certain civil rights, certain election-related cases involving the Trump administration, involving the federal government. And so as a result of that, Harmeet Dillon, the Justice Department, filed this motion to recuse, and we'll have to wait and see what happens with it. But it certainly seems to me like the DOJ has a very strong case that this judge should, in fact, recuse herself.
So Fulton County is a laughingstock joke. Outside of Cook County, it could arguably be the number 2 most corrupt, incompetent county in America. The judges riddled in scandal. The prison system riddled in scandal. Prison guards go to prison. They go to prison themselves because they were shooting music videos. It's truly sophomoric, juvenile way to live, and it's a Democrat regime. But if you look at these judges, we don't know. For example, this particular judge might have been one of the judges that threw out the election result challenges of 2020. And then you look at the other judges that resided over all the cases in the Trump issues, whether it's the schizophrenic who said he raped her 20-some, 30-some years ago, or it's the judge over the no plaintiff in the property insurance fraud case, of which there was no fraud. And you look at the relationships between the kids and the wives of these judges, all Democrats, all go back to Democrats. So when you take this in its total value and you step back from it and you think about what this case is with the settlement of the government and Trump and how the fund was going to be set up, I never liked that. Not because I think the fund is illegitimate. I think he settled for short money. I think he should have went forward for the $10 billion. And now that you see, the evidence is clear, whether it's Mershon and his daughter that worked for Harris, or it's Boasberg and the daughter that worked for Harris, or it's this other schizophrenic, what's his name, Igroinen, or whatever the case, or this particular judge. And every judge that threw out the election challenging cases, because none of those cases were adjudicated, they were thrown out for standing and a variety of other trickery. Do you think he should, in fact, up it and make it $100 billion and go after all of it and make the government adjudicate the case in front of the people? It's better than an election. They can't steal this.
Well, look, I think we certainly haven't heard the last of the issues related to this fund, whether there may be alternative mechanisms available. We've seen DOJ saying that certain settlements may be available under something known as the Federal Tort Claims Act. But again, Shaun, there should be widespread bipartisan agreement that at a minimum, federal judges or any judge or any elected office holder should adhere to the truth, and that they cannot lie to investigators when those investigators are looking into potential misconduct. Keep in mind, 18 U.S.C. 1001 was freely and very aggressively used against Trump administration officials, Trump administration allies, is something this federal judge likely has to preside over. Cases involving charges being brought under this same statute that prohibits lying to federal investigators. And so if we are going to adhere to the rule of law, if we are going to say that everyone should be treated equally under the law, it's hard to imagine why this federal judge, at a minimum, should not be removed from office, if not criminally prosecuted for her conduct.
Well, I hope she fights it, because I think she's revealing exactly what the allegations I make are, that this particular political party cannot have any legitimacy in any federal position, in any employment in the government. And when you think back to the Sunday show with Chuck Schumer, who bragged openly about who I believe was an illegitimate president, Joe Biden, who told the people, don't worry how the election turns out in 2024. We have 235 federal judges that we crammed through during the Biden years. That's why it's uberly important, in my opinion, to invalidate the election of 2020. What would the legal ramifications be if we go back and audit all of those ballots in Michigan and Arizona and Georgia and all of the contested areas in Pennsylvania and the rest of it? And in fact, that was proven to be an illegitimate presidency. Would those federal judges be null and void?
Well, look, I think at least for the immediate concern going forward prospectively, there are very important issues being litigated by this Justice Department in terms of gaining access to voter rolls, getting access to information. I just mentioned Harmie Dillon, in charge of the Civil Rights Division at DOJ. She is affirmatively suing certain blue states to get access to their voter rolls to see if they are complying with federal law. And unfortunately, many of those blue states are fighting her. They're opposing the Justice Department's efforts to make sure that their voter rolls are accurate, they're up to date, and that they are in fact complying with federal law. And so prospectively, there is still a lot of work to be done. I say kudos to this Justice Department for pursuing those cases, for trying to make sure that some of the issues we've seen in the past are not going to be replicated again. But stay tuned, because there is still a lot of work to be done in this area.
How do you view, I mean, I'm offended, but then again, I had the pleasure of meeting Tina Peters. And I met Tina Peters at Mar-a-Lago when Dinesh D'Souza was releasing 2,000 Mules. And at that time, the case had been started against her, but it hadn't been adjudicated. And she was in Arizona. She had been an official. She had evidence she felt that would prove beyond the shadow of a doubt that the software and the ballots were fake and the rest of it. But the specificity of the case, I'm not privy to. but I do understand what happened afterwards. And I have to say, being from, Chicago, Illinois area, and you see these murderers back out on the streets, drug dealers, gang-banging scum. We've got ankle bracelets. I don't know how many of them you can't even find who are murderers, let alone the wretched. So we've got this system where the government releases predators over and over and over. And in my opinion, that's an absolute railroad job. Then when Trump wins, he gives her the pardon, and the guy keeps her in even more. What do you think about that in the grand scheme of law and the way it is supposed to work, and how she, in fact, in my opinion, was railroaded? Do you agree that she was railroaded? And is there any recourse outside of a fund being set up during a negotiation for her to sue the government? This problem that we have is that the government is held harmless in any fault and any liability. And that to me is completely wrong.
Well, I think if we step back and look at this from the 40,000-foot perspective, Shaun, over the past several years, we really saw a weaponization of our criminal justice system in a way that was troubling, to put it mildly, more than troubling in many instances. And if you look at what happened, take the alternate electors in many states, there was precedent for the action that they took. It was a way to safeguard, have the ability to rectify still cast their votes in the Electoral College if, in fact, certain election results were overturned. And yet many of those alternate electors were criminally prosecuted for conduct that had ample historical precedent. Take on top of that, many on the left have taken this a step further. They're filing bar complaints. They're trying to take away the livelihood of lawyers who represented Donald Trump or who simply gave Donald Trump advice, even when those lawyers were acting in their official capacity as members of the Justice Department. Look at what happened in Jeff Clark in Washington, D.C. Look at what happened in John Eastman in California. Yeah, Rudy as well. So there's this concerted effort to disbar, take away the ability of these officials to make a livelihood, to discourage other lawyers from taking on these types of cases. So, look, I think as a first issue, we have to get back to fairly and impartially applying the law. The Trump Justice Department, they've done a good job at moving back in that direction. There's still a lot more work to be done. But then in terms of a remedy, I think that is a conversation that's ongoing that needs to be had. Now, I will say typically actions for vindictive prosecution, for selective prosecution, those are very difficult cases to bring in a typical circumstances. But I will say, look at Donald Trump himself, for example. It's very rare that you have politicians, attorney generals campaigning on an explicit promise to prosecute one specific individual. And yet that is what has happened in Donald Trump's case. And so even though those cases are traditionally very hard to bring, this may be one of the rare exceptions where at least Donald Trump might have a much stronger case than ordinarily would be.
This has been such an outrage, such an exaggerated example of political weaponization and bias. There has to be some recourse against the honest American. For instance, in the event anybody is tried, they should have the right to know the political affiliation. After these last 4 years, every American needs and deserves to know the political affiliation of the judge in any case before them. Because this is something where you're not going to get. I don't think you can look at Rudy Giuliani's case, for example, and think anybody can get a fair trial before a Democrat judge and a Democrat area. And I would love to know, and I don't know if the verdict is, and we do not really know this specific judge's name in what we were originally talking about, the one who was listening to Teddy Pendergrass when she can't find her gavel. We don't really know her name, do we? She, for instance, might have been a judge that oversaw Rudy Giuliani's railroading and stripping of his assets and inability to put evidence forward. This might be her, correct?
Well, look, again, her name is being publicly reported, but she has not, this individual judge has not responded to requests for comment. But I think you raise an important point, Shaun. This is about fundamental fairness. This is confidence we as Americans should have in our justice system. And I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done to restore that confidence, to restore that impartiality, to restore that equal treatment under the law. And again, at least in this specific case, I think a good first step would be for the House of Representatives to initiate impeachment proceedings if this judge does not resign from office.
Zach Smith, I love the fact you're willing to talk about it. You were one of the first people to write an article about it and the seriousness of it. And you're a Teddy Pendergrass fan, so I know how difficult it was for you to betray that love of Teddy Pendergrass and not recognize he's virtually impossible to listen to him and not get yourself in the mood. However, Zach, you stay serious and you stay on the law because we need good lawyers because you're greatly outnumbered. So thank you for always making time for me.
Thanks for having me on the show, Shaun. Good to talk with you.
You too. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-555-2085. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-555-2085 or biglou.com.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a super fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. But wait, there's more. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be switching to an American wireless company that's committed to keeping 100% of its customer service in this country. I appreciate that. In fact, that's why I switched. I also appreciate the way they support our vets and our skilled workforce. Dial pound 250, say micro, and get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. That's pound 250 micro. Stop paying twice what you need to pay for the service you want and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
RedState.com captures the pulse of grassroots conservatism. Red State staff of contributors are on top of breaking news with stories and analysis that challenge the established agenda. RedState.com educates, motivates, and activates passionate conservatives across America, arming them with the facts that put them ahead of the political curve. No wonder RedState.com is a must-read for elected officials and for citizens who want to make their vote count. RedState.com is the place where influence meets action. Log on to redstate.com today.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
I'm on at least 3 apps. For the people I left behind, I made certain that they would be protected. Living in a Democrat-run area where the government protects predators, you will go to GoldilocksInc.com and you will protect yourself if you are a family member of mine, which means I'm getting alerts all the time. And rather than get aggravated, I love it. Because I know if they close the door, if they lock their windows, I can check cameras that surveil the entire property for the people I love behind. And you can too, whether it's a business, residential. You can take an old bungalow and make it a smart home. You can take a condo and make certain that creepy bastard who you think is a Democrat across the hall is not trying to jimmy your door. And if you have a warehouse, GoldilocksInc.com, they can also build you doors. Security systems to shut off and give access to employees. You give access to the ones you trust. You take away access to the Democrats who voted for Kamala Harris. All available at GoldilocksInc.com. Call 708-889-5600. Whether you have residential property, a condominium, a retail property, or a warehouse, and you tell them you heard about it on this show, they give you 3 months of monitoring for free. That number is 708-889-5600, 708-889-5600, or online at GoldilocksInc.com. If you love them, if you love the property, if you have your assets inside, protect it at GoldilocksInc.com. When we get back, 312-642-5600. We'll take your calls and comments after Mike Scott in the news.
Good evening, Shaun. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. with a low of 63. There are still some key races to be decided after 6 states held primary elections on Tuesday. In California, races for governor and LA mayor are still up in the air. Kuwait briefly shut down its main airport today after Iranian drones heavily damaged a passenger terminal building, killing an Indian national, wounding dozens. Illinois Comptroller Susana Mendoza announced Wednesday she will run again for mayor of Chicago in next year's election. Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas and Representative Mike Quigley have also said they're interested. Chicago fire officials say 3 were pulled to safety this morning following a house fire that erupted on the far south side in the Roseland community. Bear quarterback Caleb Williams gracing the cover of this year's Madden NFL video game, and the Cubs taking on the A's tonight. The news, a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Subscribe free at 560theanswer.com/podcast. Your next news comes your way at 6. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. Up next, the latest from the AM 560 Traffic Center and Jill Urchak.
On the outbound Eden, still wide open, while the inbound side of the Eden struggling from an earlier accident, now to 40 minutes in from Lake Cook Road to Montrose, but improving. On the Kennedy out to O'Hare, 45 minutes from the Jane Byrne interchange. Outbound Eisenhower, 45 minutes, post office to 390. Stevenson, about 50 minutes to Saba Lakeshore Drive out to the Veterans Memorial Tollway. Outbound side of the Dan Ryan struggling at 30 minutes downtown to 95th, and an accident on inbound 57 near the Ryan off to the side. Crash on the outbound Ford at 130th being taken care of as well. Heavy conditions remain along DuSable Lakeshore Drive. This report is a service of the AM 560 store. Order t-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Proft University and the Shaun Thompson Show, when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a low of 63. Tomorrow, Thursday, will bring partly sunny conditions and very warm temperatures with a high of 88. In the afternoon, it'll be breezy. Thursday night will be partly cloudy and warm with a low of 69. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast, free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Rashaw talks about building income in retirement.
You know, you can actually structure it in a way that have that $4,000 a month coming in the door every single month. So you don't have to look at the stock ticker and say, oh, the stock market's up today, stock market's down. You still got that $4,000 a month, and having that opportunity to take the vacations and do all the fun things in retirement that you always dream to do.
Unleash your wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
It's almost time once again for the annual AM 560 Golf Outing, presented by Signature Bank. AM 560 is proud to partner with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation to help them support America's first responder and military heroes, to help America never forget 9/11. This year, our golf outing is happening on Monday, June 15th at McRae Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. When you purchase a foursome to join us, you'll enjoy a full day of golf, meals, an awards reception, and a silent auction. And if you're a business owner, when you purchase a foursome, you'll also receive an AM 560 marketing campaign, which includes 25 one-minute commercials to air on AM 560 Monday through Friday between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. and a free digital marketing analysis. Reserve your foursome today at 560theanswer.com/golf. That's 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Nolan Webster and by real estate broker Ed Dream at leavingil.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Got a large collection? We'll make it fit in your wallet. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
I can't remember nothing, no. But the good times.
Your Honor, Hetty Pendergrass was on. She took her roll ball. I I had to. By the way, don't ever smell the gavel. It's worse than Pelosi's hammers in his garage. Don't smell the hammer. 4 Republicans voted to strip the Trump government from combating the Islamo-Nazis. 4 Republicans sided with the Islamo-Nazi sympathizer, Marxist mafia, cuckold communist Democrats. Those 4 Republicans are Tom Massey, big shocker. Hey, did you ever settle the case with the girl you molested in your office? Not the one you married, the other one. I guess you didn't. Representative Brian Fitzpatrick, Short in the Pants Mafia of Pennsylvania. Tom Barrett, also Short in the Pants Mafia of Michigan. And Warren Davidson, creep. Ew, what a creepy-looking bastard he is. If he comes walking past you and you're in the park with your kids, you grab those kids. Grab them! You look like a hasser to me. Lloyd, Gary, Indiana.
Hey, how you doing tonight, Shaun?
Good, brother. How are you?
All right. Hey, I got kind of a thing I'd like to stay here and make a point of. Tell me what you think. And at the end of it, you're a money guy, so I don't know, man. Anyways, everybody's talking about AI coming, going to take my job, going to be out of work. Okay, so now this guy's out of work, replaced with a computer. Enough people do that. The people that won't be replaced by AI, work with their hands, whatever, they won't be able to work because there'll be nobody to pay them. Now, when they talked about it being the Great Reset, you think this is a spoke in the wheel of the Great Reset?
I want you to keep in mind something. From the dawn of the automobile, government, collectivists, fearmongers, and frauds have tried to scare the public, knowing that fear is a key component to get people to harm themselves and their own future. When you look at what Obamacare has done just to healthcare, how it has destroyed healthcare in this country, and you look at life expectancies, when you factor in that the government financed not just COVID, but a vaccine that appears to have killed more people than COVID, and they're telling you, these are the people telling you to fear AI, I think you should fear your own government, and you should fear anybody who ever voted for a Democrat. That's 1 and 2, right? Number 3 is this country is the youngest and the richest, with the highest quality of life for everybody, not because of politicians and fear, collectivism and policies, but because of business. Business it grows, always changes, always moves. Welcome it. Embrace it. It is fantastic. It can replace every low-life political apparatchik in our system. Government, AI first will be released in healthcare, then in government policies, then in financial auditing. It will only benefit all Americans. And if people have low skills, what makes you think you can't continue to have low skills in other jobs and other opportunities? AI isn't going to be instantaneous, and the fluidity of the economy is always changing. Look at us. Look at me and you. Did you ever think, and I'm serious, growing up, what do? We skitched behind cars. We played outside. We threw rocks at each other. We played sports. We can answer any question we have ever had. We can answer any question me and you had, our parents had, our grandfathers and generations we can't count. We can answer the question in the palm of our hand. We have more technology in the palm of our hand than they say NASA had when they launched the space operation. You have it in your hand. Would you? What if they told you, this is gonna give you cancer? It's bad. Phone's bad. You don't want that information. Embrace AI. Does AI make it so I never, ever have to have a Democrat nurse, doctor, lawyer, accountant, or anybody else talk to me? Then I'll take it all. Give me 6 of those robots, and I want 3 of them with cleavage. What do you think of that?
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. Embrace Americanism, technology, the economy. Because you know what happens? Do you know what happens when you embrace government? You get $3 trillion stolen from you in a lie that any intelligent being or artificial intelligence would never accept. Green energy, the swindle of fear of climate change is all fake, fake, fake.
The Biden administration is considering as much as $3 trillion worth of measures to include in the long-term economic program. Bloomberg.
And you know what else AI can do? Find the money and every red pig that stole it from me. every lobbyist on K Street, every scumbag that hates my country abroad, and every low-life, cuckold communist Democrat that stole my money. Get it and give it to me, or just give me the address. I'll get it myself.
Mr. Secretary, I want to go back to some of your earlier testimony, be sure I heard it correctly. The 76-day period you're talking about, that's the period between the time that President Trump was elected and President Biden left office. Is that right?
That is correct.
And during that short period of time, 76 days, how much taxpayer money went out the door of the Department of Energy?
From the Loan Program Office in loans and commitments, $93 billion. Well over twice as much as in the previous 15 years.
Everybody goes to jail. Release the AI on these filthy pigs. And by the way, you know what else AI can do? AI can keep a track of how the people who say they represent you, how they insider trade, and the kind of scum they are the whole time. I'm on your team. I'm the red team.
Remember back on May 18th when we made this post, flagging two separate politicians for coincidentally buying the same stock within a 5-day period? Well, that stock was an AI company called Marvel Technology. I hope you saw it because today it was up 30% on strong earnings, and both of those politicians are now up over 150% since their buys from early April. This guy, Representative Byron Donalds, was one of those politicians who bought. And he sits on the subcommittee of Digital Assets, Financial Technologies, and AI, which means his committee literally oversees AI policy. So him buying one of the biggest AI chip companies in the market and then making 150% return on that chip company probably is a conflict of interest.
And proof beyond the shadow of a doubt, he's a fraud. You're a fraud. You think of that, dummy. Inside trader. Are you better or worse than Ro Khanna? Not as good at it. After all, he got away with it. And when it comes to Democrats and Republicans, there's a new breed in Washington, D.C., that you should embrace as much as you embrace an AI doctor who was never dumb enough to vote for Barack Obama, for Kamala Harris, or for... Why are my socks wet, Joe Biden?
Let's be clear here. Nobody is interested in the ramblings of a capo in the most corrupt regime in American history. We want to get some facts about this deal. That's what we're here for. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and I will ask my questions first today.
And we would like to hear what Adam Wyden and Jeffrey Epstein talked about. Your son's largest investment position was Rick's Cabaret. So did your son and Jeffrey Epstein talk about pole dancing as he begged him for money using your limited credibility?
Should I just proceed?
What'd you say, Wyden? What'd you say? Hey, scumbag! Senator of nothing, you fish-face pig. You and your queer son. Stealing money, using clout. You're outed in front of the world. That didn't happen before, did it? No, because you had Republicans like Massey. Republicans like the other three scum who always sided with the party that promised to cut them in versus cut it out. And any Republican that got their beak wet from the $3 trillion that the illegitimate election thief Joe Biden stole. You're scumbags, too.
Not one of the military ballots was a registered voter, and the ballots looked like they were all exactly the same Xerox copies of the ballot. They were all for Biden across the board. There wasn't a single Trump vote, and none of the voters were registered. They had to manually enter the names and addresses and a birth date of 1/1/2020, which would override the system and allow them to enter non-registered voters, of which I saw several.
Illegitimate! 4 years stolen from every American and the world. That's the most corrupt administration in the history of this country. Frickin' rat. 312-642-5600.
Marxists, socialists, and communists are not welcome on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Every morning, students and faculty fill your school's hallways. And every morning, parents trust you to know who's there with them. With ID Supply, that trust is earned and visible. From student and staff ID cards to secure visitor badge systems, ID Supply helps you instantly identify who belongs on campus at a glance, while keeping your entire facility safer. Visitor badges expire automatically, so no one stays longer than they should. And parents, they can feel confident knowing their school has a system in place. Need supplies? We've got you covered. ID card printers, ribbons, and custom lanyards in your school colors. Most orders ship same day. Parents, if your child's school doesn't have a visitor ID system, ask them about ID Supply, because knowing who's on campus shouldn't be a question. Get 10% off your first order with code SCHOOL10. That's SCHOOL10. Visit idsupply.com or call 800-647-5562. Again, that's 800-647-5562. ID Supply. Trusted by schools for over 20 years.
Hey, sorry to hear your mom passed away.
Thanks.
A lot of work to do settling her assets?
Actually, she prepared a living trust. Makes this process simple.
Yeah, I set up a will for my kids. Should make it easy.
Well, unless your assets are small, your kids will have to go to court to settle your will.
So, where do I get a living trust?
Nauman and Associates. They prepare wills and trusts for a flat fee. No surprises.
Nauman and Associates in Elk Grove Village?
That's right. NALawGroup.com. Call 847-593-8777.
AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, there's a Democrat in a high position getting their freak out with an underling. And then there's Tom Massey. I never seen a guy take a death of a spouse in such stride as that scumbag, lowlife fraud, Massey. Voting now with communists. Of course, he's always kind of been willing, pliable, to go along, to get along.
Yeah, it's worrisome. You know, the Fed basically has become now just a giant hedge fund. It's lost $1 trillion, and counting. It's going to be a gigantic loss. What it does is
all green energy financing. All of it. You didn't hear. Tom Massey drives a Tesla. He's got solar. He was pushing everything green energy. Hey, Tom, did you get your beak wet? Did you get in on it? Please. Tell me you weren't stupid enough to not get in on this greatest swindle in history.
Maybe I'm not being clear. If we spent $50 trillion to become carbon neutral by 2050 in the United States of America, how much is that going to reduce world temperatures?
This is a global problem, so we need to reduce our emissions and we need to do everything we can.
How much, if we do our part, is it?
Right here. 0.004 of their own concocted fraud. Greenhouse gases, your ass. Those are coming from underneath the judge's robe in Wisconsin, that big fat slob. That's some greenhouse cow gas right there. And what about all the workers in all the companies? It was supposed to be utopia, squirrel.
Ford and SK, the two companies behind the massive electric vehicle battery plants in Hardin County, are splitting up.
WDRB's Fallon Glick breaks down that announcement today. Fallon?
You guys, it has not been smooth sailing for the nearly $6 billion Blue Oval SK battery.
Oh, yeah, that's the third one. So 5.7, 7.4, and 6. You guys are doing great. What's the business climate like in your Democrat areas?
Shirley, there are typically some extenuating circumstances when a homeowner would dump a ton of money into their home and then renovate it and then move less than a year later. For Samsung, this very same scenario, leaving New Jersey, going to Texas, sounds like a business decision.
You think so, stupid? From sea to shining sea. Wherever there's a Democrat, it's the same story, except, of course, if you're in on it. You got some juice, you got some clout, you got some power, woo, and you get yourself one of those phony loans from the G.
This is actually policy for Democrats. This is the allowance of fraud. They knew what was happening. They knew that they were not going to check Treasury's do not pay list because 2/3 of them would have been flagged on the do not pay list. And then they ordered SBA employees to only take 4 hours per applicant and not take any more time and get those.
So the first thing that you release AI on is all of this bureaucracy bulldunk, because any scumbag who pretends to work for Small Business Administration and takes an order from don't breathe in when Joe Biden's around. It smells like Paul Pelosi's hammer drawer. And they took the 4 hours. 4 hours. How many government workers you ever see work 4 hours? That was created to be stolen.
The applications through, that's how $14 billion got out the door so quickly. And then we come to find out in the GAO report that 70% of it was fraudulent. Now,
just let that sink in. 70. That's 7 out of 10 in case there's a CPS student who can't figure out how to change the radio or turn it off. 7 out of 10 SBA loans under and the office whore called the Biden administration. 7 out of 10 fraud, fake, nobody, not real, which means 7 out of 10 SBA loans given under Joe Biden were given to Democrats.
From day one at the SBA have come in with a zero tolerance policy on fraud. And so we began cracking down on it right away. We've already sent out 1,000 demand letters demanding that those who took the money, now these were not loans, these were grants. These were the federal government writing checks of taxpayer money to the folks you just named, not
loans, grants. I stand corrected. So that means it's called drinks around the house, money for nothing, and Ferraris for free. Well, it must deliver a high quality of life in these Democrat areas. Wouldn't you think so?
Prosecutors say he stabbed an 83-year-old woman in the neck as she was waiting for a taxi Sunday morning.
Betty Ellerby is recovering from multiple stitches in Brookdale Hospital after being hit with a stick in what police are calling a random attack.
He just walked in front of me, looked at me holding it, bit sick.
It happened Sunday morning, as Ellerby says. She was waiting for a taxi cab on her way to church in Brownsville.
Boy, if that isn't a postcard. And some filthy, low living recipient of all of your money in policies, throwing teeth for that drug addict pig, stabbed her and beat her. That's all right, though. That's New York. New York must be taking some approaches to really turn things around.
Taylor will be the first out trans woman to lead a city office in New York City history.
Well, she'll be easy to identify. Who do I talk to about the permit? Talk to the guy in his mother's skirt, that freak.
As we all know too well, the queer community as well as intersecting communities and adjacent communities.
What? What are you? What is wrong with you? Do you hear yourself? You got a mirror in your fracking house? Why don't you run for Senate, scumbag?
Or it's just going to have to be such a flood of Democratic ballots coming in after, being tabulated after election night or into the wee hours this morning that would just lift both Democrats over Hilton. That's increasingly what it.
Don't worry. Just tell them the number they need. They'll come up with it. Like they did in Minnesota to get the comedian elected. Way back when. Nobody figured it out, huh? You've been stealing elections for as long as there's been a Democrat mafia. Don't worry, Squirrel. It's not as bad as you think. These areas are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. See, it's impossible to deny the failure, the fraud, the corruption that is the Democrat Party. Don't worry about a thing, baby.
Democrats need to win in a state like this if they have any hopes of flipping the Senate.
They don't just need to win in a state like this. They need to win in 2 states like this, and specifically states that Donald Trump carried in landslides by more than 10 points. If you look at the path, if it exists for Democrats to get a Senate majority, they got to defend places like Georgia and Michigan. They got to win Maine. Certainly no guarantee based on what you're seeing in the last few days there.
What I like about this, Squirrel, is they're going to have to either vote for the low-living character of a Democrat judge that gets stooped in our office by anybody with a hammer, or a Nazi in Maine. Go ahead. Show me who you are, you filthy rats. We'll be back.
The following contains a celebrity impersonation.
Mr. President, we're seeing reporting that air conditioning systems are failing as temperatures rise. What is your response?
I said, don't wait. People wait until the last second, then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave perfect guidance. Call Air Right Heating and Cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Sir, but homeowners have so many HVAC options.
They're not like Air Right. You got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres. I wouldn't let them near the White House. It would be a complete disaster.
Mr. President, there are reports of significant rebates on new systems. Can you confirm?
I've heard about them. A lot of people talking about them. If you miss out, you'd have to be really not so smart. Tremendous savings, let me tell you.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling at AIR-RITE.com. Air Right, doing it right since 1959.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again, not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family owned with integrity since 1981.
Technical Account Manager, Infi USA Incorporated in Chicago, Illinois. Install, support, and maintain network infrastructure for kiosk POS systems. Requires a bachelor's in electrical and computer engineering or related experience with networking protocols, troubleshooting, and system scripting automation. Salary $63,898 per year. Send resume to 125 South Clark Street, Suite 660, Chicago, Illinois 60603.
When digging, just one strike to a buried utility line can damage property, interrupt critical services, and cause serious injury. Stop a disaster before it starts. Contact Julie before you dig to request utilities come mark their underground lines for free. When planting, building, adding, or fixing anything outdoors, stay safe by planning ahead. Contact JulieBeforeYouDig.com. Every project, every time.
JulieBeforeYouDig.com.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
The only country to allow every citizen an opportunity to partner with some of the greatest companies in world history. That's our country. Always evolving. The one thing we know about the economy is that we do not know. But we also know that in 250 years, we've delivered prosperity the likes of which humanity never thought they would enjoy. My next guest knows it all too well. That's his business. Whether it has to do with cash equities, commodities, financial products, Scott the Cow Guy Shality is the place to go. He's the person to listen to on RFD TV. You can hear him now after Foxweiser News.
A signal of progress with Iran. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. That from President Trump, even as a ceasefire shows signs of cracking.
Despite Iran launching a barrage of missiles and drones into Kuwait Wednesday, President Trump says the ceasefire is working.
We nipped it in the bud very quickly, as we do. We're the greatest military in the world. But some people would say they were slightly provoked.
The president described the Iranian strikes as a response to what U.S. military officials described as defensive strikes by the U.S. earlier this week. President Trump spoke to reporters shortly before the U.S. House advanced for the first time a war powers resolution to end military action against Iran.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. That resolution next goes to the Senate. A dual Iranian-American citizen and tech CEO has been arrested, accused of supplying U.S. equipment to Iran's nuclear agency and military. Jamshid Ghomi faces charges of conspiracy to violate the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. A day after Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche said the anti-weaponization fund was scrapped, President Trump not committing to an end to the program.
The weaponization fund, as far as I'm concerned, was a beautiful thing.
The $1.8 billion fund was meant to compensate allies of the president, though it faced bipartisan criticism, with some lawmakers expressing concerns it could be used for people who took part in the Capitol riot. A man shot and killed by the FBI in Bakersfield, California, after police say he took 10 school employees hostage inside a downtown office building, holding them for nearly 16 hours. Authorities say Anthony Scott Searles Harris told them he had a bomb strapped to himself and to some of the hostages.
There were a total of 10 members of our community whose lives were changed yesterday, unexpectedly, but we are thankful that they have been reunited with their loved ones after this ordeal.
Assistant Police Chief Jeremy Blakemore. America's listening to Fox News.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
remains wide open on the outbound Edens. The Kennedy downtown to O'Hare. That is a 40-minute trip to get out there. Tight in the Express, still near Keeler. On the Eisenhower going out, 40 minutes. Post Office to 390. Stevenson outbound, also a 40-minute trip. DuSable Lakeshore Drive to 355. On the Dan Ryan going out, that is a 25-minute trip to 95th with slowdowns in the Express near Marquette. And DuSable Lakeshore Drive remains heavy either direction. Eastbound Jane Addams right near Higgins. Crews are clearing up scenes from an earlier crash. The tollways slowly improving. This report is a service of the AM 560 Advantage. Membership has its privileges, including early access to event tickets, exclusive contest opportunities, and special members-only content. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a low of 63. Moving into Thursday, anticipate partly sunny conditions with very warm temperatures and breezy winds in the afternoon. The high will reach 88 degrees. Thursday night will bring partly cloudy skies and continued warmth with a low of 69. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft, but that's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If they find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes in your financial accounts, they'll alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that can make all the difference. Save up to 30% off your first year with the promo code BECK. LifeLock.com, 800-LifeLock, 1-800-LifeLock, or LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK at LifeLock.com.
If stairs in your home are becoming difficult, there's a practical solution, and it doesn't have to come with pushy salespeople. Access provides dependable stair lifts designed to help you stay safely in the home you love. No gimmicks, no overselling, just honest guidance, quality equipment, and professional local installation. We'll explain your options, work within your budget, and let you decide what's right at your pace. For a straightforward, no-pressure, free in-home consultation, call 630-616-6249 or visit allaboutaccess.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
Back in the day, when you had to make your money, honestly, you had to know things. You had to be an expert in things. You had to base your decisions on knowledge. We're all so blessed we remember those days. I'm so blessed because I not only remember them, I remember the people I would turn to for their opinion and advice on a multitude of different items, especially if it had to do with money. Whether it was cash equities, commodities, financial products, I always would go to the cow guy. Back then, I just knew him as Scott. In fact, he's on my phone as Scott Cow. That's it. Because he was an expert before he was on CNBC, BBC, CNN, Sky TV. Because he worked his way up and he produced on knowledge. Scott the Cow Guy Shality also has a weakness for Teddy Pendergrass. And like a Democrat judge in Georgia, he will take his robe off if he hears Teddy. How are you, Sexy?
Every now and again. I wear a robe all the time. It's much more comfortable. Thank you. I'm good.
Who doesn't wear a robe? You kidding me? I look stylish in it, too. I like it. I like it.
I bet you've got some little slippers to go with it, too.
Oh, absolutely. I wear the short robe, too. You got to give them a little something to look at. You know what I mean? When I put them in the mood. So,
all right.
One of the things that's amazing when you talk about getting in the mood, I mean, when you look at the market overall and the massive growth, and you look at the results, I mean, there are funds out there, Vanguard funds, that are 15+% annual return. I mean, if you just step back and look at the way in which the new policies stripping the old theft of the green energy movement. By the way, I did a little research. Joe Biden, $3 trillion in green energy movement. Forget all the other stuff, COVID and the rest. $3 trillion nobody can find. It's a miracle what's been able to happen here in a very short period of time if you just step back and look at all of the money that's been added to the debt, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, well, which one do you want to? I mean, are you talking about how well Trump's done or how bad they did before him?
Well, I'm talking about how corrupt it was and how it mirrored as an economy and how different it is now that it's being privatized. But more importantly, how we've been able to shed off the $3 trillion that you can't trace in just green energy. By the way, all those battery plants, all of them, the Biden administration, all gone, all closed, all the solar, all gone, all closed, all the wind gone and closed. I mean, that money's in the wind.
Yeah,
ironically.
and yeah, exactly. I think one of the poster child acts of that whole administration was the $8 billion we spent on 7 charging stations. I mean, where does that $8 billion go? I mean, that's it's the height of ineptness, but at the same time, where'd the money go? I mean, you just must have put in the 7 stations and went to a different country. I don't get it. But you're right. We've done this has been fantastic, and the Republicans, I think, are dropping the ball here a little bit because they don't tout all of the great things that have happened in the last year and a half, 2 years. And I don't know why, but he's done so many great things about getting rid of regulation, lowering taxes for the people that matters the most, with no taxes on tips and the Social Security and overtime. I mean, you can go down the list, and then at the same time, I'm so happy that he's in power as we get into the teeth of this AI trade, because artificial intelligence is the fourth industrial revolution. It's going to be a really big deal, and he gets it, and so he's going to help foster that. And I think there's a large part of that going through. And then think about it. Anthropic, OpenAI, and SpaceX are going to be listing IPOs this year. SpaceX is coming around in the next couple of weeks. That's going to be $1.75 trillion. You add all 3 of those up together, because I think OpenAI is going to be in the fourth quarter and Anthropic's in September or October. It's between $3.5 and $4 trillion of new companies coming to the market. I mean, it's just absolutely astoundingly amazing, and it's going to keep going. It's been a long time I've been this excited about a setup for the market and our economy and how things are going, because I do actually have hope this time.
Well, and what's fascinating, and I would face this as a kid, right? When you start out and the way we started out. And when you would go back to the neighborhood and you'd tell somebody, oh, I'm going to be a trader. I'm in commodities. I'm trading and this. And they would be like, and it used to drive me nuts, Scott. Oh, for everybody that makes, somebody loses. What are you, out of your fracking mind? That zero-sum mentality of an economy only exists among people who don't understand the economy, like the politicians, the Republicans you alluded to earlier, why they're not describing it. They don't understand it. The economy is not zero-sum. There isn't a winner and a loser. Both win, especially if you're talking about commodities or stocks or what a stock is. The company wins when you buy the stock. You win as the company wins. It's just growth. It is the definition of absolute and total growth. And if you're going to try and thread the needle that you and I talk about and offset the fraud of green energy, one president, $3 trillion, there's only one way to offset it. Growth. Grow it. Grow out of it. Grow out of the problem. Reevaluate the debt, manage it differently. But if you do not grow, you are done. That's the only way we can fight it, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's doing both of them. The other way we can fight it is try to bring in the fraud, the waste, fraud, and abuse, and he's trying to do that as well. So if we can really stoke the economy and bring in the waste, fraud, and abuse, yeah, we're going to get someplace. But the problem is right now we're spending $2 trillion more a year than we actually take in taxes. And so we're getting to the point now, Shaun, just so everybody can understand, we've got about over $1 trillion in just interest we need to pay on the debt that we have on an annual basis every year. But we're getting to the point now that we're going to borrow money to pay for the interest on our debt. So we're borrowing money to pay for interest. That is a doom loop that we have to do something about, because for some reason the guys and girls in Washington can't get their head around the fact that we have to stop spending and we have to balance the budget. That's the problem. If we don't do anything, and we're not probably going to do anything, we're going to be staring at $41 trillion in debt this time next year. And we'll probably add to that if we spend some more for this war. So we have to do something about that. And that's one of the things I think it should be the fly in the ointment here.
Well, that's ghettonomics, right? And ghettonomics will tear you down. But the other side of the coin of what he's doing is very interesting. You know, I was listening to this slob of a governor in Illinois, and they keep touting this. They keep doing this. Balanced budget. We've got another balanced budget, another balanced budget. And it's the only way in which that exists is the lie, the financial crime that government is able to tell the people, right? And they can speculate on what they perceive to be revenue in the future, and they can also account for what's called reimbursements. And that means you spend money, or you say you did, in entitlement projects, whether it's health care, whether it's housing, whether it's food stamps, whether it's Social Security. And that's why these states won't turn over their voter rolls, because they're making up people. They're using illegal aliens, and they're pretending to be generous, as Illinois now says they're going to pay tuition for illegal aliens and the rest of it. All this nonsense, right? But ultimately, when you break down just the math, $56 billion is Illinois' new phony, ridiculous budget, right? But 42.9 of that is reimbursements from the federal government. But the caveat is the federal government can shut that off as they force you to turn over not just voter rolls, but who you say you're giving this to. And if he can do what we know he can do, prove that a tremendous percentage of that, if not all of it, well, not all of it, but a tremendous percentage of it is completely fake, as it is in Minnesota, as it is in California, as it is in New York and New Jersey, now he doesn't have to pay. So if he stiffs these Democrats who have been lying, cheating, and stealing in order to pretend they balance their budgets, that's a tremendous savings. It's never been done before, but has there ever been more of the right guy in a position to do it?
Yeah, I mean, he and Mark Mullins, I like what they've been thinking about. You're exactly right. If they don't come to heel, I don't understand how you can defy federal law anyway, but that's for somebody with a bigger pay grade than me, because it doesn't work with my common sense. But also these folks that are not letting ICE do their jobs and the likes. You know, Mark Mullins is thinking about, well, I'll just take everybody out of the security at the airports and let whomever comes in come in. I'm not going to sit here and be your whipping boy. So at some point in time, somebody's got to play the other card and let these people, you know, the sanctuary city and sanctuary state is the dumbest thing in the world. It should be illegal. I think it is. But I don't know why we don't call them out on it, because why does anybody think you say Illinois spends? Illinois is only spending what it takes in taxes. So can you imagine? I mean, if somebody asked anybody in the state of Illinois, do you think you should pay for an illegal immigrant's college? No. But that's what your government's doing.
Well, it's a smokescreen the way I see it, because all they have to do is say they spent it. They don't have to. Who are you going to believe? And the way in which the governments do accounting, you couldn't run a property management company the way the federal government and state governments run. They run it out of one account. So it's one giant fraud. It's never really gone through a forensic audit, which is why government is trying to sell the fear of what's called artificial intelligence, which is just intelligence that a computer does that can't be bribed, doesn't give a rip what politician you are. It just wants the right answer. And I'm telling you, I think that AI is going to be a level win for every honest American as it grows the economy massively. And it will not tolerate these lies of politicians. It's going to look at things and say, what the hell are you doing? This is completely inaccurate, wrong.
You could already plug it in right now and ask Claude or ChatGPT what these books look like to the Illinois book. They would tear them apart, absolutely tear them apart. They could do it right now.
And when you look about how it's going to solve problems where we turn to people we think are experts. When you really sit back and think of what you and I and decent people have been arguing about, let's just take, for example, the lie of climate change, the lie of the predictions and the fear-mongering. The computer models that they were using were fraudulent. Another computer that checks that those equations will prove that it is fake. When you really think, if you let this go on policies, everything from health care to green energy, and then on top of it, you eliminate the incompetence of man, where I don't have to go to a doctor. I could ask my computer. I could ask my AI. I could ask my robot in the future. The robot can change me. And now I'm not dependent on these services that they have been used to steal money. I mean, this is just the tip of how good it's going to get in a very short period of time. When you think it isn't that long ago, we were impressing girls at bars with the pager we used to have from the Merc. Remember, we would read the little words? Oh, that thing was fantastic. They thought I was a doctor.
Well, I tell you what. I mean, with the big chat GPTs that we have out there now, Claude and the likes, why do we need a Fed?
Exactly.
I mean, all they do is collate information and come up with an idea. That's exactly what artificial intelligence does. I would get rid of the Fed yesterday. I'd get rid of the Bureau of Labor Statistics yesterday. Why? We're going to get a jobs number on Friday. We should know to the minute how many jobs it is. Why do we have to wait? I don't understand. This is going to really revamp everything, and it's going to tear the you-know-what out of the government, and it's going to be good.
It's exactly what we need at exactly the right time, and these are exactly the right people. I have never been more impressed with Scott Besson. I never heard of the fracking guy outside of obscure knowledge of the George Soros, how he imploded the pound. And when you really step back and look at it, he wants to do it. He wants to release this. And you talk about these major bureaucracies in the federal government, you're 100% right. But you and I have been talking about this, about assessors' offices, about the minutia of bureaucracy that exists in what used to be our great city, now a third world ghetto. You take it to Cook County and all these counties around, you could eliminate all of these positions. After all, it's already being done. Everybody knows to the foot what property is valued at. Why do you need any of these idiots? And the excuse they have, we couldn't get the bills out in time. All of it's automated in the private sector. Bring it to the public, force them all out, and clean it all up.
I agree. And I love. I used to love that city. It was a beautiful city. I spent a lot of time all over the world. It held its own. But now you look at some of these property prices. I'm sure you're involved with it because you know property way better than I do. But I feel like getting sucked back in. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to let them do it because all they're going to do is they're going to sell you a nice place for a decent price, and then watch what happens to your real estate tax, and you're going to get absolutely taken to the cleaners. I am staying so far away from that place, I'm never going back.
Well, did you hear about the borrowed ghettonomics, right? So they borrow money. City of Chicago borrows money, $1.2 billion in phony money put together by the same meatheads that sell them the bonds at high rates. And they say, all right, we're going to give you more. You're just going to pay more. And there's a program now where you could, as a couple, let's say you and I, because now this is the thing, especially in Chicago, let's say we admit our love for each other and we get married. You and I, we could make up to $285,000 or $284,000 a year as a couple and still get $70,000 for a down payment for a new home purchase in Chicago.
Oh.
Well, that's the backdoor socialism. There's social engineering it. Now, you're going to have to say you're a clubfoot transvestite from Peru, and I will be a Guatemalan gangbanger, but we'll get the $70,000. Are you in?
Let's go. Go for it. 35 each.
And that's exactly how easy it's going to be because there's social engineering, real estate purchases, and backdoor fluffing up prices that shouldn't be as high as they are, which in essence, because of this phony down payment, you're talking about $70,000. $70,000 for a down payment and closing costs. So now you keep these prices, you could actually make them higher than where they are, but it's all fake.
Oh, they're gonna.
It's all money. It's all fake money.
Exactly right. Anytime the government gets involved with money, healthcare, school, guarantee you these prices are going to go higher. And that's going to help them in another way, too. They have more to assess real estate values on for the tax purposes. So what a absolute circle jerk of charade that's going to be.
And now here's the other thing. Once we own the property, let's say you say, I want to go to Fiji, honey. And I say, me too. Walk away. Default. Who gives a rip? We don't have a nickel in there. It's all phony money. Never pay. Never pay. $70,000 property. Take you 3 years to kick us out.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't surprise me. Look.
You want to talk about a system set up to get worse. It's wherever these Democrats are. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the tip of the iceberg. I mean, look what's happening in California and in Minnesota. I mean, that's nothing compared to what's going on there.
Now, I have to tell you, you said I know real estate in Chicago. I do and I don't, right? I haven't done it in 10 years. I haven't participated in any real estate in Chicago. But I have to tell you, when I went back for the smoker. I went past my old neighborhood. I'm telling you, man, it is third world stuff. When you go through the lesser neighborhoods that surrounded Melrose Park and you go through the other neighborhoods, Maywood and the rest of it, it's unbelievable, right? And now you come down to, I drove through all these states, and it's amazing. There's no vacancies. In fact, if there is a vacancy, it says coming soon. It's a new business. It's a small business. It's a medium business. And now there's Samsung is leaving New Jersey after grants. All these EV plants that were done, closing. Ford has closed 6 plants that they had for their EV and the battery. They partnered with the South Korean company throughout the country, mainly in all Democrat areas. I mean, what happens I mean, I hate to say it, but why wouldn't everything be like Cairo if all of it is based in subsidies and fraudulent money that they never even finished the jobs? The green energy movement is defunct for at least the next 2.5, 3 years because he removed Chevron deference, which is huge.
Yeah, and then if we do get another Republican, president, that'll keep going. You're right. This is what's going to, again, I bring it up every time. I talked about it on my show today. We're going to have more and more people flooding to the southeast and in Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. I'll throw those in there too, that just have had enough. And you've seen what's happened in California with the voting there. People are slowly but surely waking up to the fact that nobody's out for them. Nobody's looking out for them. And you know what? We're going to see more and more of these socialist mayors elected in some of these big blue cities in the north, and you're going to see more and more money flow to the south. That's just going to be the way it is.
I also can't help but notice you're seeing exactly what we needed, the realization of these three-party candidates who may pretend to be and have to be running under Republicans, but they're not. Whether you look at Hilton or you look at this kid who's going to be the mayor in L.A., if they win 1 and 2, you will now get a resurgence of people who want to succeed going back to California. You could see in real time exactly the allegations people like you and I make. If Democrats run it, the quality of life sucks. The money is stolen. If they don't, it's better. This may actually be the greatest thing that we're watching in real time. If they can secure the mayor and the governor of California, you can make California great again.
I mean, California lost 106 millionaires the last 3 years. 106 millionaires. And they all went to basically Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas. It's amazing that these people can't look in the mirror and see, this is not working out. I'm losing a lot of people. I'm losing a lot of tax base. I should change my way. No, they double down. And that's what they're doing. That's what Pritzker's doing, too. I don't understand. It's almost like they're committing Harry Carey. They want to kill themselves. I don't know why, because so much, you look, Chicago and San Francisco are beautiful cities. Now they're dumps.
Well, and the other thing too is if you really look at the Pritzkers, this is the closest he ever got to anything, any job. I mean, he was a laughingstock of the family. Everybody knew it, and that's not, that's like being a tall midget when you take a look at that Fred Flintstone-looking family. But he never really was part of any of the decision making. He's a punchline. Anything he ever manages because they didn't want to deal with it and they needed the write-off. That's J.B. Write-Off. Pritzker should be his real name. And when you look at for the first time in his life, he pretends to have a job. I don't think it's going to sell. I think outside of these Democrat fiefdoms, he's a punchline. I mean, everybody I talk to here, they laugh at the fact. I got guys in Florida sending me stuff. Look at this idiot. Look what he said today. I mean, outside of these Democrat fiefdoms, these people are punchlines, and California's proven it right.
I agree, but I mean, what's going to happen in Chicago or Illinois that could turn that place around right now? I mean, why would you want to get involved? I mean, at least California is beautiful. What are you going to do with Chicago? I mean, what are you going to do with Illinois? I mean, nothing. Look, I love farmers. I love farming. But as far as, there's not a big Illinois tourism board, if you get my drift.
All right, so I'm dying to buy you dinner. You know I am. So we're going to bet, and we're going to put a time limit on it. You ready for this?
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
By the end of this year, the federal government will take up the 33 counties in Illinois that voted for secession, and the federal government will start to lean on the Pritzker administration, on the Chicago Mafia Democrats that run Springfield, and it will be the first time since the Civil War that the federal government backs some form of reorganization, a state the way it's drawn up on a map. I think Illinois will be the first state in the country to have counties that successfully secede to Indiana. I believe it. I'm calling it right now.
All right. I think that could happen in Washington State as well, by the way. They're thinking about the same thing up there.
You always got to one-up me. It's the same thing when we would talk to girls. You always got to be a one-upper. You could have the hot one. I'll take the chubby one, all right?
Well, then we'll average out the same. That's great. Thanks.
Well, thank you very much. I always appreciate you making time. RFD TV, Scott the Cow Guy Close, or it's the Cow Guy, or Scott the Cow Guy Close, right?
Cow Guy Close with Scott the Cow Guy, yeah.
Yeah, Kurt sends it to me because I still can't tell time. I appreciate you. I appreciate you making time. Say hello to the wife, the good one,
brother.
the hot one you picked up. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Say hello to her fat friend that I married. All right, I'll see you later.
Bye.
He's Shaun Thompson.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
And this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a super fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. But wait, there's more. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be switching to an American wireless company that's committed to keeping 100% of its customer service in this country. I appreciate that. In fact, that's why I switched. I also appreciate the way they support our vets and our skilled workforce. Dial pound 250, say micro, and get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. That's pound 250 micro. Stop paying twice what you need to pay for the service you want and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
The Federal Reserve has just announced a change in leadership, and that could have a profound impact on the value of your retirement. That's why now, more than ever, you need Advantage Gold, the #1 precious metals company in America. Call Advantage Gold right now at 800-900-8000 and get your free gold and silver investor guide, a $49 value, plus a free copy of Ken Rogoff's latest book, Our Dollar, Your Problem, giving you powerful insight into the future of money, markets, and global currency trends. Our specialists can help you open a new account or transfer funds from an existing IRA, tax and penalty free. Markets are unpredictable and they can turn fast, but precious metals are a safe haven asset that stand the test of time and volatile market conditions. The question isn't if the next shift is coming, it's when. Are you positioned? Don't miss this opportunity. Call Advantage Gold now at 800-900-8000. Results may vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
The following contains a celebrity impersonation.
Mr. President, we're seeing reporting that air conditioning systems are failing as temperatures rise. What is your response?
I said, don't wait. People wait until the last second, then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave perfect guidance. Call Air Right Heating and Cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Sir, but homeowners have so many HVAC options.
They're not like Air Right. You've got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres. I wouldn't let them near the White House. It would be a complete disaster.
Mr. President, there are reports of significant rebates on new systems. Can you confirm?
I've heard about them. A lot of people talking about them. If you miss out, you'd have to be really not so smart. Tremendous savings, let me tell you.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling at AIR-RITE.com. Air Right, doing it right since 1959.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. America is celebrating its 250th birthday, but it's been hard to get the party started. Many Americans remember our bicentennial in 1976. It wasn't long after Watergate and the Vietnam War. It was even a presidential election year, but we put all of that on hold to celebrate our great nation. How long ago that seems. This year, the administration launched a nonpartisan Freedom 250 initiative to give America a spectacular birthday party. But left-wing activists targeted artists scheduled to perform at the national concert, leading some to withdraw and turning what should have been a patriotic event into a political fight. Instead of bringing Americans together, the celebration has become another arena for political conflict. That's unfortunate and revealing. It shows how much work remains to restore unity in our country, pride in our history, and confidence in our future.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the Made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
Do you know why I love doing the commercial for Alpha Wealth and Tom Fortino? Because ultimately, the undeniable fact is there really is no philosophy of achievement and success and quality of life outside of capitalism and Americanism. There is no real socialism. It doesn't exist. No Marxism, no communist. And American Democrats right in there with it. They do not have an area they reside over that is financially solvent. Not one in the whole country. So what matters most is you and your ability to take care of yourself and your family. The right advice when it comes to the economy, when it comes to your personal wealth, is crucial. Now, you have two options. You can learn it yourself, take charge of it yourself. That's an option. Or you can turn to somebody who has done it, understands it, knows the knowledge and the fundamental principles of making your life better today, tomorrow, and when you retire. That is Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth Group, who have been doing this for 30 years. There are funds out there that return 15% compounded. But it isn't going to matter if you're not in on it. Now, if you feel comfortable stealing someone else's money in the name of your social justice, congratulations, you're a scumbag. You're a Marxist, you're a socialist, you're a Democrat. For all those people who don't want to steal their neighbor's money, call Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth Group. It's really that simple. 630-864-6711 is the only number you need. There's a free, no-obligation consultation where you can take a little bit today. That can be a lot tomorrow. And if you structure it properly, there will be no taxes on it if you do a Roth IRA. In fact, in the big, beautiful bill, you can use a second property in the same way you can use a first property for your tax advantage because, see, the government wants to keep you down. That's why there is a progressive tax system, the number 2 plank of communism, so that they can manipulate it. And if you're a Democrat scumbag, well, then the rules don't apply to you. But if you're not, well, then you got problems. Unless you fend for yourself. Call Tom Fortino, 630-864-6711. Tell them the most important thing is you want to be self-sufficient and make sure your kids get the money, not an illegal alien. 630-864-6711 or online at alphawealthgroup.com. When we get back, 312-642-5600. If you care to participate and you're not a scumbag, Marxist, socialist, Democrat, we'll take you. If you are, go sit in the corner with a dunce cap on and wait for somebody to give you something for nothing. After Mike Scott.
Good evening, Shaun. I'm Mike Scott. In the QC Kinetics newsroom, partly cloudy skies tonight, a low of 63. Key races still to be decided after 6 states held primary elections yesterday. In California, races for governor and L.A. mayor up in the air. Spencer Pratt close to securing a spot on the November ballot, going up against incumbent L.A. Mayor Karen Bass.
I'm going to continue to work hard, learn everything I need to learn, build my teams, show all the experience I'm going to surround myself with.
The vote counting could go on for days as the vote by mail is tabulated in California. Illinois Comptroller Susana Mendoza announcing Wednesday she'll run again for mayor of Chicago in next year's election. And a homicide investigation is underway after a man was killed and another badly injured in a shooting on the city's far south side in the 400 block of West 98th Street in Washington Heights. Cubs take on the A's tonight. The news service of the AM 560 store. T-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands like The Shaun Thompson Show. 560theanswer.com/store. Next news comes your way at 7. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. Up next, the latest from the AM 560 Traffic Center in Jill Urchek.
Here's a final check of the roads. The Kennedy downtown 2 here, much better. They're checking in at 32 minutes from the Jane Byrne interchange 2 here, while the outbound Edens is okay. Improvements also going out on the Eisenhower. That is a 45-minute trip to 390 from the post office. Stevenson also checking in at 40 out to 355. Dan Ryan out much better as well. Accident at the Skyway off to the side. And the express lanes are slowing from the Chinatown feeder to Marquette. DuSable Lakeshore Drive, although still showing delays either way, that's getting better. The tollways, residual delays from a few earlier accidents, but improving in both directions as well. This report is a service of the AM 560 store. Order t-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Proctor University and The Shaun Thompson Show, when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a low of 63. Tomorrow, Thursday, will bring partly sunny conditions and very warm temperatures with a high of 88. In the afternoon, it'll be breezy. Thursday night will be partly cloudy and warm with a low of 69. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Amazon Business. Discover smart business buying where unmatched selection meets AI-driven tools to simplify complex processes so you can focus on what matters most. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's noblegoldinvestments.com.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Perhaps you're a collector, or perhaps all of a sudden you have a collection. Maybe it's an inheritance. How do you know what it's worth? This is Shaun Thompson for Donley Auction. The market for antiques and collectibles is changing all the time. What is your collection worth right now? Well, I've got an easy way to find out. It's simple. You contact Donley Auctions. With their worldwide audience of live and in-person auctions, they have a good idea of how to tell you exactly what it's worth at exactly right now. They're ready to put top dollar in your pocket. The bigger the collection, the better. Go to DonleyAuctions.com and get the info on all things that they buy and sell to have an idea of exactly what Donley does and how much they need your collection. They have so many buyers. It's a great time to sell. Just simply make a phone call. Donley has traveled all over the country to pick up collections. Just call and talk to the people at Donley Auctions at 815-923-7000. Donley Auctions is your trusted partner in turning your collections into cash. DonleyAuctions.com.
Hi, Dr. Huber here with Marty. Marty and I were at the Cigar Festival 2026, and we're here listening to Shaun Thompson Show. And Marty told me about he has a sinus problem that Virago seemed to help.
Probably for the past 15, 20 years, I would get a sinus infection every spring, every fall, and had to go in, get medication. Since the last 2 years I've been taking Virago, I have not had any issues with the sinus. If I feel it coming on, I just up the dosage, and then I get the sweats one night, and then it's all gone. I feel great.
So you think Virago is a big reason for all this improvement?
Yeah, and I don't have to take any sinus medication, which I'm happy about because I don't know what's in half that stuff anyway.
Well, that's great, and thanks, Marty. We're glad to tell our Virago fans that we do help with your sinus problems. Thank you.
Try Virago today. Order your bottle online at myvirago.com and use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. That's myvirago.com, coupon code IMMUNE. Virago and Maha, making America healthy again.
Wealth Health Radio. The biggest fears that people have is, do I have enough money to retire?
Retirement doesn't have to be complicated.
To make sure that you're going through retirement with confidence.
Learn principles of income planning.
There's a lot of different facets that you need to take into consideration when you're retiring.
Tune into Wealth Health Radio with Joe Murphy, noon to 1 p.m. Sundays on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Selling a collection or just the high-end antiques? Get top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
How about this communist in Seattle? You tell me, Squirrel, you don't think it's funny that they're all repulsive looking, do you? I find that to be hysterical. Repulsive inside and out. Communists.
This is the first of the kind of new sites that we've been able to identify this year that we are opening, and I'm really proud of how fast we've been able to get that going.
75 units, 70 square feet, single adult units in Seattle's Inner Bay neighborhood due to open ahead of the World Cup. It's transitional housing with wraparound services. It's part of...
Who pays for it? Everybody! Shh, hurry up. Hide the results of our policy known as drug addicts, homeless, and the filthy. Hide them! Hide them! Matt, South Bend.
Shaun, I was going to ask, what are you going to do 4th of July? I think they've got the shift snake mouse that you can light and all that crap comes out of his mouth. Or you got the Bernie Bones punks.
So what are you buying? What are you invested in for the 4th of July, man? What are you going to do for your holiday? Because I'm going to rock it, man. I'm going to love it.
I got to tell you, I do the same thing. I mean, I make everybody crazy. I like the Gulf of America. I like a very tight-knit group of family and friends, and I don't want to take any chances of ever bumping into a Democrat, so I live in Southwest Florida. So I'm going to take complete advantage of that, and I live a little bit off the first ground level, and I'm going to watch the fireworks and smoke a cigar. That's what I'm going to do. So pretty much the same thing I'm going to do. Yeah, so pretty much the same thing I did today with fireworks.
Love it, man. Love it, man. Rock on. Happy 4th, man.
Happy 4th, Matt. Thank you very much. Lee and Hammond.
Hey, Shaun, I wanted to see if you heard about this one. I just heard reports about this over the last couple of days.
Yeah.
They're renewing the NDAA again this year, and Section 224, there's a bipartisan move on. They have a new language you're putting into this thing that will meld the United States and Israeli military into one unit, to where Israel has exclusive access to our military, technology, training, I guess disposition, God knows what else. There's never been anything like this before that we've done, not even during World War II with our allies. Well, have you heard of this, and what do you think of it?
Well, here's the thing I got to say when it comes to this whole thing about the new move of Israel. I think it's probably, and I would be willing to bet on this incredible steak dinner, that it's bull dung, for the simple fact of they don't need that, and we don't need them. We work together in the most important areas, and then a lot of the technology we have in Palantir is a technology that they purchase from us. We don't purchase from them. Now you could talk about if you feel that the people who own Palantir are also selling it to Israel, which they are, but only because our Pentagon allows it. But, it's the same Pentagon that said we have to have a bunch of transvestites in it. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't feel that that's real, but I will investigate it for you, and I will do the research. But I'm going to be very leery of that information because you have to understand something, Lee. When people talk about the Israel influence in America, which is, sizable, those people that run AIPAC, those are Americans who happen to be Israelis and have Israel interest, which I have no problem with. They spend a lot of money, but then again, so does the healthcare industry. But one thing that's fascinating, Lee, is the massive explosion in the Islamo-Nazi money into American politics and propaganda. And when you hear these podcasters and all of this fraud like Candace Owen, understand that they are paid by Islamo-Nazis. So before you believe it, check it. And you want to know something, Lee? In your hand right now is the answer to all your questions. You could actually possibly answer that question by going to ChatGPT, or you could listen to Candace Owen and see if this makes sense to you, Lee. Hold on.
And on the day of Charlie Kirk's assassination, an Egyptian Air Force plane took off from Provo, Utah airport. They said, she made a time zone mistake, like as if I'm on flight radar every day, accustomed to reading the data here. And tomorrow we will have more explosive information and revelations about the Egyptian plane. And when I tell you on Wednesday what we discovered about those Egyptian military planes, I think some more people are going to be on the run. I saw some of you guys asking about the Egyptian planes. Yep, we have that for you. We're in for a week. Tomorrow, we're going to talk a bit more about the planes. The thing about the Egyptian plane is so explosive. Like I said to you, I had to try to get this to the right people in government and those individuals.
Schizophrenic side broad that never made it to the big leagues. And then there's the others.
Our country is under a hostile occupation.
Israeli occupation of the United States government.
Israel controls our government.
Israel controls our government.
Control and influence and manipulate our system.
Ruled and controlled and manipulated by the nation state of Israel.
They are vampires. They suck our blood.
They suck the life out of this country.
Can I ask you something, Lee? Have you ever been approached by a Hasidic Jew that said you will denounce Jesus Christ and become a Jew?
No, can't say that I have.
Me either.
But I have heard that people like Senator Tillis, North Carolina, is in favor of this thing, and a bunch of other politicians. I wish you'd check into it, Shaun.
I will check into it, babe. But believe me, the Israeli government is not half as concerning as a Democrat from Chicago. I appreciate the call. It's amazing what propaganda does. But it really goes back to the circles.
Despite what you might be thinking, these two circles are not equal. I repeat, these two circles are not equal. One is in fact larger than the other. What I need you to do is determine which one that is. So, please raise your hand if you believe the blue circle is larger than the red. All right. Please raise your hand if you believe the red circle is larger than the blue. All right, very good. Now, before I said anything about these two circles, what was your first instinct? Equal, right? Because they look equal. And the reason why they look equal is because, in fact, they are equal. These two circles are identical. Yet I got just about every one of you to raise your hand and say that they're not. So what do we learn? That you can be manipulated like that to believe in something that goes against your natural instinct.
By complete strangers. A complete stranger does that to you. Not somebody you love, somebody you trust, just some schmuck in a sport coat with a tie. Don't believe anything. But if anybody, whoever voted for a Democrat, opens their mouth, believe nothing. 312-642-5600.
He believes in freedom, capitalism, and individual liberty. And because of that, he's become an enemy of the state. He's Shaun Thompson, and this is The Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Every morning, students and faculty fill your school's hallways. And every morning, parents trust you to know who's there with them. With ID Supply, that trust is earned and visible. From student and staff ID cards to secure visitor badge systems, ID Supply helps you instantly identify who belongs on campus at a glance, while keeping your entire facility safer. Visitor badges expire automatically, so no one stays longer than they should. And parents, they can feel confident knowing their school has a system in place. Need supplies? We've got you covered. ID card printers, ribbons, and custom lanyards in your school colors. Most orders ship same day. Parents, if your child's school doesn't have a visitor ID system, ask them about ID Supply, because knowing who's on campus shouldn't be a question. Get 10% off your first order with code SCHOOL10. That's SCHOOL10. Visit idsupply.com or call 800-647-5562. Again, that's 800-647-5562. ID Supply. Trusted by schools for over 20 years.
Picture warm Gulf breezes, turquoise waters, white sand beaches. Now, add evenings of conversation with Salem Media's Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, and Jennifer Horn. This November, sail from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Mexico on a 7-day journey built for those who love this country. Book your cabin today when you text the word cruise to 94878. Celebrate America's 250th anniversary the right way on the Gulf of America Cruise. Book your cabin now. Text the word cruise to 94878.
It's finally happening. The Fed is making a change in leadership, and that could have a profound impact on the value of your retirement. When interest rates go down, the value of precious metals like gold and silver can surge. Call Advantage Gold right now at 800-900-8000 and get your free gold and silver investor guide, a $49 value plus a free copy of Ken Rogoff's insightful book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Inside, you'll get honest information about gold, silver, and other precious metals, so you can explore your options with clarity and confidence. Our specialists can help you open a new account or transfer funds from an existing IRA, tax and penalty-free. Markets can turn fast, but gold has maintained its value through every cycle, often holding strong when other assets falter and when the dollar weakens. Are you positioned? Don't miss this opportunity. Call Advantage Gold now at 800-900-8000. Results may vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, Squirrel, can you do me a favor? Scour all of the rabbis all around the world. Find any one of them that ever threatened me. Can you do that for me?
Islam will enter every house. No house will be left untouched. This is the promise of Allah.
I got your promise right here. Come and get some. Yabba dabba do. My religion was not founded by a guy that married at 6 years old. Was yours, Squirrel? Yeah, you eater, huh? How about the Scientologists? If I hold the rods of truth, do I get to be in one of those MI movies? I think I do. They don't want to come to my house, though, right? They're okay if I don't believe in their guts on gold. How about the Amish? If it wasn't for those hats, boy, you guys would really be onto something.
500,000 Yazidis face genocide for refusing to convert to Islam.
Well, I don't want to convert to. Yabba dabba do. Those costumes aren't flattering. I don't like those long shirts. What the frack is with that beard and no mustache?
7,000 Yazidi women were sold into chains under Sharia law by...
I'm not big on slavery, especially like the women I protect. You know, pay all the bills, the phones, the insurance. I think you guys are repulsive. Is that okay? You're all right with that, right? Make fun of that cartoon character that wrote that nonsense up, right?
ISIS, 10,000 Yazidis were killed, 2,600 are still missing, 250,000 remain displaced in camps, 0 protests by leftists or Muslims.
You guys got a discotheque? What's the rock band out of Iran? Anybody? Anybody? How about the Iranian Comedy Center? You got yourself a comedy club there in Iran? Tehran? How about Gaza? Got a comedy center there? Freaks?
But we've been very strong in Florida from the beginning on all of this nonsense and doing whatever we can to keep the people of this state safe.
That's my guy, Squirrel. Hey, he's not fat. He can do a push-up, and he's a man.
And one of the things that the legislature did was you see different things. 9/11 obviously was, a massive terrorist attack, but you also see it with somebody going in with like a suicide vest. You see it, somebody going.
Do me a favor, Squirrel. Can you find the Yiddish suicide bomber list? Can you do that? It's right next to the famed Jewish athletes. Can you find any kind of Hasidic Jew suicide bomber? Can you find one? Me either.
Going in and shooting people, doing the chants. That is kind of the formal, explicit jihad actions that we see that happens in the United States, when honestly it should never happen, because you shouldn't have people in this country who hate this country, and that's a big
ding, ding, ding. Which is why in Florida, our police of any department, auxiliary police, we can arrest illegal aliens. Get the frack out of here. And if we catch you stealing our money, whew, things aren't going to go well for you.
You have not investigated anything. Here's her. Watch.
House Republicans looking into the net worth of you and your husband. Are you cooperating with that investigation and providing the documents?
Looking into anything. They're just saying those things to get interviews with you guys.
I can't help but notice you're big on the stealing money. Big on lying to collect benefits you never paid into. Somalian pirates, Islamo-Nazis, all telling us with their costumes.
There's nothing really happening.
They're saying it's a red flag.
Investigated anything. He hasn't done anything. He hasn't referred me to anybody. He's just saying that so he can get TV interviews, because you guys will only talk to them if they say something about me.
Says you haven't investigated anything, Chairman. It's basically all for attention.
Yeah, she's delusional, and she knows better.
I'll tell you what, though. I'm still a little tuned up on this guy.
Islam will enter every house. No house will be left untouched. This is the promise of Allah.
Can you give us a head start? I'd hate to have to clean up and do it again after you throw your ass out and kick your teeth in. Get the hell out of here! Whole fracking thing's made up. And that Muhammad is a bit of a pedophile. Well, what are you doing marrying a 6-year-old? He didn't have sex till she was 9. That's perfectly normal. We'll be back in 21.
It's almost time once again for the annual AM 560 Golf Outing, presented by Signature Bank. AM 560 is proud to partner with the Tunnel